What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Off the Couch Boxing. I'm your host, Rexx Ruger, watching my back as always. You know him, you love him, El Flaco Explosivo, a.k.a. the Alexis Arguello puppet. We're back with another banger of an episode, but it's Off the Couch Boxing, so when is it not a banger? It's a rhetorical question, but the answer is never. And we got another great episode today. This is, of course, the home of the most amazing and real boxing conversations anywhere on planet Earth. Again, I will only speak on behalf of Earth. The aliens might be up there doing some dope-ass shit. I don't know, but I can confidently say here on Earth, this is the best boxing content anywhere. Legends, luminaries, world champions, and fighters on the come-up. All coming here to chop it up with your boy, Reckless Rexx. And today is no different. Yet another amazing episode. My guest will be in here very shortly. At the time of this recording, it is April 12th. This, of course, like most of my episodes, will be up in the probably the next day. But I will say today, Saturday, April 12th, we got a good one tonight. It's currently 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. Tonight, it is on unification bout in the welterweight division. Stanionis, Boots Ennis, getting it on tonight, man. Both guys weighed in yesterday, looked phenomenal. I believe it's going to be a great one tonight on DAZN. Tune in, tap in, support boxing, man. The greatest sport in the world. I'm a little biased, of course, because I do what I do, and I'm so passionate about the sport, but it's going to be a good one tonight, man. Of course, let me go into my obligatory promotion spiel. Of course, make sure to like and follow Off the Couch Boxing on Facebook. That's first. There you'll get updates on new episodes, when they're dropping, who's going to be on them, and any other big boxing news I can throw your way. If it's popping off in the fight game, I'm keeping you guys in the loop and putting it on the Facebook page. Big fight announcements, fight results, breakdowns, analysis, predictions, viral videos. Something's popping off at a weigh-in or a press conference, I'm throwing it up there, man. We all got to keep each other in the loop, man. I'm going to do my part to keep my audience, man, tapped into what's going on in the fight game. Rest assured of that. And, of course, if you're here right now watching this episode, you're in the right place. Pat yourself on the back. Like, subscribe, smash that notification button. You are watching a boxing podcast, so maybe even go a little more vicious on the notification button. Maybe a hook, maybe a right cross, maybe an uppercut, maybe pepper it with a few jabs. Whatever you got to do, man. Stay tapped in, man, because this is the place to be right here. The resume speaks for itself, folks. Go back, look at the playlist, man. Peruse all the past episodes, man. It's all there, man. As I said, man, we're all over the board with it, man. Grabbing people from all facets of the boxing game, man. OGs, young guns, man. Anybody we can get our hands on, man. Overseas, you know, I'll go international. So very proud to say that I stand by our product here at Off the Couch Boxing. We're growing. You know, I don't want to, I certainly can't say leaps and bounds, more like a slow trickle, but hey, Rome wasn't built in a day, man. We're grinding, we're hustling. The viewers are always going up. The subscribers are always going up, and we appreciate the support, man. Couldn't do it without all you guys. And of course, most importantly, could not do it without the guests. That's the important part right there, man. And a huge, huge thank you goes out to the amazing people that have graced this show, man. I'm in awe of them, man. You know, I admire them. I respect them. And I don't pull their name out of a hat. They're on my radar. They're on the show for a reason, man. I love what they do. And one of them guys is here now. My guest is here. We're getting down to it and chopping it up. Let's go. There he is. What's up, my guy? There he is.
Oh, Chad.
How are you, man?
I'm all right, man. How you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good now that you're here, man. I'm ready to chop it up with you, man.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna pull a no-show, man. I'm a professional.
I know you are, of course, man. Hey, listen, that's how New Yorkers get down, man. I'm an upstate New Yorker. I get it, man. And when I had Shushu on here, I said, you know what, man? I'm an upstate New Yorker. He said, you know what? It all counts. It all counts.
New York is New York, brother.
New York is New York, man. And so, Flat, first of all, man, I like to kind of tap in at the beginning, man. How early did you get into this boxing thing, man? How early you get a pair of gloves on?
I was born into this, bro. My grandfather, he started the legacy with my family. It's a family legacy. It's
Okay.
in the blood. So my grandfather, his name was Sam Taylor. People can
Okay.
look him up, Google him. He
Okay.
was the #1 ranked boxer for the military, right?
Wow.
So look, this story is crazy. The story
Okay.
is crazy. So he was the #1 ranked boxer for the military. So then he turns professional. When he turns professional, the mafia is running boxing. So they threaten him throughout his career. He have a small amount of fights. They threaten him. He has to throw all his fights. If he
Wow.
doesn't throw his fights, they kill his family. This is what they tell him. Know what I'm saying? So he was forced to throw his fights, and it took him to the point where he just quit boxing. He became a legendary blues musician. You can look him up, Sam the Bluesman Taylor. He wrote songs for Elvis Presley. He wrote songs for the Isley Brothers. He wrote songs for all these groups from back in the day, you know, from back in the like 60s,
Yeah.
70s, stuff like that. So he was forced to become a blues musician because he was pushed out of the game by the Italian mafia.
Wow, that is some crazy story, man. So what was their angle, man? They were just like, a fucking betting heavy, man, and having him throw the fights?
Yeah, well, if you do your research, you'll see back in those days, that was regular back then. They'll force you to throw fights, and certain fighters, I guess that's part of the team or whatever, however it worked, they'll be forced to make those guys win. So in order to do that, they'll have to force the opposite guy to lose the fight. He'll have to throw the fight, and they'll threaten his family, tell him they're gonna kill his mother, his father, stuff like that.
And they
So
would.
yeah. My grandfather was a victim of that, and then that's my mother's father. So my father's it came to me from both sides, boxing. So that caused my mother, her siblings to grow up in the boxing game. So my mother was a part of the boxing game because of her father, and then it passed on. Not it passed on the other side, which is my father's side. He was also a boxer, but he was caught up in the streets and stuff. But he was a boxer. My uncles on his side. I just come from a boxing family. So my father was actually good friends with Aaron Pryor. So
legend. Oh my
yes,
God,
the Hulk,
the Hawk, yeah.
Yes. So yeah, I just come from a boxing lineage, bro.
And of course, a Brooklyn guy as well.
Absolutely.
Brooklyn just fucking churns them out, man. Just
Yeah.
churns them out, man. And you know what? It's good to see that it's not just, because you can name all the greats that came from there, the Danny Jacobs, the Shannon Briggs, the Mike Tysons, the Eddie Mustafa Muhammad's, but it's still carrying on with the next generation. We got Shu, we got Richardson. I mean, just churning them right out, man. What do you attribute that to? Like, I know Brownsville, Brooklyn, man. It's it's a notorious rough neighborhood. It probably toughens a lot of guys up, man. But it's such a small area, man. It's almost an anomaly. How do you explain it, man?
So I credit it to the rough upbringing. Just being around is like every day is it's cliche to say every day is a fight, but it's like every day you come outside, you're getting into a fight. It's just in the air. Know what I'm saying? Like people just love to fight from there. Know what I'm saying? So it's something that we carry. It's a part of us. Know what I'm saying? Now, it's crazy because when it comes to Brooklyn, we all attached. Shushu, I watch Shushu. Anybody that knows Shushu can ask him.
Yeah.
He came up under. I don't want to say under me because it's not like like I taught him but we came up in the same gyms and he was a kid. Shushu been doing it since a baby.
Yeah.
Him. I have a little brother named Dion Sparks. Him and Shushu used to go be in the amateurs together. So they used to train together, spar together every day. Same thing with guys like Richardson Hitchens, Chris Colbert. All of us is from the same circles. Even the OGs, Zab Judah, his father was my trainer from day one.
Yeah.
Still my trainer to this
That's
day.
a bad man. That's a bad man right there.
Forget it. All you got to do is Google. And I thank God that they created this Google and YouTube because you could actually look back and see who people really was.
Fact check them. Yeah.
Yes,
you can. Yeah.
because anybody could come on in front of a camera and talk like they was the baddest man on the planet. But
Right.
can I see that for myself? So
Right.
now once I type your name in, what's gonna come up? And if you type the names in of these guys, like you said, Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, that's one of the OGs I came up under.
Yeah.
Shannon Briggs, of course, you know, that's my uncle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We came up from it's a guy named Jimmy O. He started Star Age City Boxing Gym. That's Shannon Briggs' old trainer. He brought me up as well. Now, I mean, God bless his soul.
Shout out to the Cannon. I'm trying to run him down.
We gonna get him in, man. Know what I'm saying? We gonna get him in, but we all come from the same lineage as Brooklyn fighters, you know?
Yeah.
I can name a bunch of others. Danny Jacobs, that's my brother.
Amazing.
Know what I mean, from young. Curtis Stevens, Saddam Ali. I could be here naming names all day. Paulie Malignaggi, all of us. Yeah, we all come from the same circles.
And so when you're growing up, man, obviously you've got all these guys to look up to. You just named a bunch of them, man. But when you're getting into boxing, man, like, are there particular guys you're watching on TV that you would call, you know, we grow up, we have those sports heroes, those idols. Obviously, you're naming a lot of guys right there in your area. But were there guys, you know, outside of the Brooklyn, New York area that you looked at as like, wow, man, I like, you know, I'm tuning in when this guy's doing it.
Well, the funny thing about me was my upbringing in boxing. It was similar to other fighters from Brooklyn, but it was kind of different too. Because my father, what he would do, like I said, he was a fighter, and he was a, you know, an old school guy. Excuse me. So what he would do, he would sit me down as a kid. I'm talking 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. Sit me down in front of the TV, pop in the VHS. This for the young people out there. This is before YouTube, and we had VHS tape.
Yeah, they're googling VHS right now if they're under, if they're under 25.
Right. So my pops my dad would put in the VHS tapes of Joe Louis, Jersey Joe Walcott, Ezra Charles, Archie Moore. Now I'm saying he would make me sit there and watch these guys, Muhammad Ali. Make me sit there and watch these guys. So I study. These are the guys that I study now. As far as I was blessed, right? Because I had the privilege of training under Floyd Mayweather Jr. and his father, Floyd Mayweather Sr. for 5 years.
The goats,
you know?
the goats.
You know what I'm saying? Like the things I learned from them, not just as far as skills and technique, but also business wise. You know what I'm saying? Just from being around them. Also, for the people who don't know, my favorite boxer is James Toney, and I had the privilege of being around him as well.
Just had him on,
bro.
Just had him on. That's the unk right there. That's
I watched that interview, man. That's my guy right there.
Love him, man. Love him.
So I was able to learn from all of these different guys. There's a bunch of other. I'll be here naming guys all day, bro.
I mean, listen, man. James Toney, man, from 160 to heavyweight, nobody did it better, man. And I know that him and Shannon had that funny beef on there, man. You know what I mean?
It's boxing, though, bro. So you gotta expect two guys to talk about it and go back and forth.
Yeah. Because I remember that video too. That was another one, man. That was a hilarious one too, man.
Yeah.
And anytime you Brooklyn guys get together, man, it is great. And I like what you and Zab did, man. What was the impetus for that? The all call-outs are mandatory. First of all, are you guys still doing that?
Yeah, well, we've been trying to get it more monetized and things like that. Zab is doing he's doing another thing with a guy, Mill City, but we revamping everything, and you know, because we had such a so for the people who don't know, we started a thing called all call-outs are mandatory, right? So what we do is we'll have all the top boxers. I'm talking about the biggest names you can name, Tank, Devin Haney. We'll have all these guys on our show during the pandemic. You know, it was remotely through Instagram, and they'll be calling each other out. So it fit the title, all call outs mandatory. You calling out who you want to smoke with. So we had all of these guys on there. And every boxer you can name, we had them on there, calling out who they want to fight. And then what's my guy that was on ESPN at the time. He's very privileged with boxing. I don't know if he's still on there on ESPN.
An announcer?
He's like he does a commentary.
Joe Tessitore?
No,
Mark
not
Riegel?
Joe Tessitore. The younger guy. His brother was killed by
Max Kellerman.
Max Kellerman. There we go.
Yeah.
So Max Kellerman, who I got love for, Max Kellerman, but he tried to steal he tried to steal our show and call it I think he tried to call it call outs or something like that.
Oh,
And
come
then
on, Max.
we protested it though, and then he ended his show. But
Yeah.
it was that big what me and Zab was doing, that other guys that try to steal what we was doing. So we trying to bring it back. You know, we trying to get it more monetized and things like that.
Yeah, and all the guys in your circle, man. And I'm not just saying this because I have you on here, man.
Mhm.
But you are really linked up and close with some guys that I admire and respect so much that I need to have on this show. Shannon being one of them. I know
Right.
you've got a real great bond with Zab and
Right.
the Mexican Monster. I've been trying to run down the
Oh,
Mexican Monster forever, man. And I had a few dealings with, and of course you never know when you're online, man, who's scamming you and who's not. But I'm pretty sure the person that I was conferring with last year was a publicist, and it got close to one of his fights. I can't remember who last year, man. And then she got back to me, and we danced back and forth with some correspondence. And then she said she got to the point where she was like, "Oh, he's only doing audio interviews right now." And obviously, I have an audio video type format or whatever. But I'm gonna run down the Monster. That's my guy right now in the sport, man. My number one guy,
brother. We great minds think alike. That's my number one guy right
I love
there.
him, man. And nobody wants any smoke with the poor guy. Man,
Bro,
I mean, you got Dimitri Bivol, one of the best pound for pound guys right now, saying, "Fuck it, I'll give up the WBC title. I don't want to fucking that guy."
But Rexx, I keep it real. I tell you, I don't blame him.
Me
I don't
neither.
blame him
No.
because the Mexican Monster, he's an animal, bro.
Yeah.
I could tell you, I've been in. If name any boxer, if I haven't been in the ring, training camp with them, spar with them, I've been in the gym with them and trained with them.
Yeah.
Listen, bro, he's amongst the most elite when it comes to being a savage. And the thing about him, and I tell people this, he's such a mild-mannered, such a nice guy.
Yeah.
It'll fool you.
Yeah.
So real quick, I've been to training camp with him. This way he was training in. I've been to training camp with him more than once, but this when he was training in Seattle. So he moved from Seattle to Miami, but at this time he's training in Seattle. So he give me the call. Oh, what's up, yo? Flat, come out here. You know, I'm gonna take care of you. Da da da. So because for the people who don't know, I'm one of the. I consider myself the greatest sparring partner of all time.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
so I spar with everybody. Caleb Plants, the Canelos, I spar with everybody. So at this time, he calls me, brings me out there to Seattle, takes good care of me. Such a sweet guy, nice voice. I'm like, yo, man, he must like me enough to where when we get in the ring, he not gonna try to kill me.
Yeah, he's
brother.
sweetening you, fattening you up for the
Fattening me up, brother. Seasoning me up, brother.
Yeah.
You know, yo, this guy, man, sparring with this guy. I mean, because I'm this is what I do. I get busy. I got the skills to pay the bills.
Yeah.
But this guy is such a problem in that ring, bro. It's hard to describe it, but what I can say is there's no secret to his success. He's the Mexican Monster for a reason. He's one of the most avoided fighters for a reason, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
He's a beast, bro. Beast.
And because I do what I do, I try to stay tapped in. I belong to a lot of boxing groups on Facebook. I try to put up whatever's popping in the fight game. I try to keep my audience informed, put it up on Facebook. And I saw a discussion today, and I had to jump in. Obviously, people want to see Benavidez and Canelo. Whether we ever see it, I don't know. But I left a comment on there saying, you know, this point in his career, Canelo's made all the money in the world. He's not going to lose sleep if Benavidez ain't on his resume. But I do think in years to come, though, journalists will throw it in his face that he didn't get busy with him, man, when he had the chance. And I don't think it'll necessarily tarnish his resume, you know. But I did say, you know what, at this stage of his career, Canelo, man, a guy with an engine and stamina like Benavidez, who throws a tremendous amount of punches, man. I mean, at this stage of his career, why the fuck would he want smoke with a guy like that? I get it, man.
Bro, this is what I try to tell people. Of course, people that don't box, they just want to see blood. They just want to see blood and guts. They want to see somebody get beat to death. And I understand it's entertainment. It's like the old gladiator sport when they'll have the guys in the Coliseum with the tigers chasing them, and they want to see the guy get ripped apart. You know, it's a gladiator sport. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about it, I don't blame Canelo. As much as I love Canelo, I love Benavidez. Benavidez is my brother.
Yeah.
But I know he wants that as much as he wants that fight. I don't blame Canelo for not. This guy's a savage, bro.
Yeah,
especially at this point in his career. Now, maybe 6-7 years ago, okay, even though he was at a smaller weight, but he was more. You could see Canelo, and Canelo's not old. He's what, 35?
Right. I think people look at him as old because, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, back when he fought Floyd, he already had fucking 40 fights.
Exactly.
You know?
The guy got mileage. He got mileage.
Yeah.
Been through wars, fought. He got one of the best resumes ever.
Yeah.
You look at
No doubt.
the guys that he fought, he has one of the best resumes ever. He fought everybody.
Yep.
But the thing about it is, at this point in his career, he knows what kind of damage he's gonna take, bro.
Yeah.
He's not
I agree.
beating the Mexican monster. It's
No.
not happening.
No.
Not at this point in his career. It's not happening, bro.
And
he
people
knows
and people in the comment section, if they comment on this video, might give us some guff because Canelo's got his, Canelo's got his fans out there, man. The people that stick by him and say the monster can't, ain't on his level or whatever, man. But you're right, man. They don't know. They don't know,
bro. I've been in the ring with both. I've sparred Canelo. I've sparred Benavidez.
Right.
Listen, it's like I said. I think, to be honest with you, I think the fight will happen. I think it'll happen. I think it'll be Canelo's last hurrah. Yeah. And I think Canelo, he'll show glimpses of his former self, but he's not beating that young, hungry man right now.
Right, but I feel like it's 62, 2-2, to secure his legacy and with that Mexican pride. Does he really want to go out with an L though, man? I don't know, man. You know what I mean? I've asked other boxers on here, man, who have long since retired, man, legends and shit. Is it hard to go out, man, on an L? You always want to ride out, man, on top.
That's absolutely true. A lot of guys, they look at it. That's like my brother Danny Jacobs. That's my bro. Came up with him since the amateurs. I don't like the way he went out with Shane Mosley.
Yeah,
he took a loss to Shane Mosley Jr.
Yep.
I feel like he could have. I feel like he's at a different class than Shane Mosley Jr. But it's at a time in his career where he's been through so much. With beating cancer and stuff like that.
I know.
And then he been through wars.
Miracle Man.
Bro, the Miracle Man.
Yeah.
That was my guy from since he was the Golden Boy. I got some interesting stories on him too, because a lot of people don't know how great Daniel Jacobs was. This guy was so great, and y'all could research this too. He was so great of a fighter. They changed the amateur rules because of him. They changed the amateur rules because of Daniel Jacobs. As an amateur fighter, he was one of the greatest amateurs ever, but they actually had to go back and change because he would land so many punches. I remember because I was an amateur the same time as him, and my father was a coach, so we would have to go to the clinics. I would go to the clinics with my father.
Right.
So they would have to announce this. Why they changed the rules? Because they had to change the scoring system. Because of Daniel Jacobs. He would land so many punches in a fight that the computer system couldn't keep up with the punches.
Wow.
This is the first time people is ever hearing this. I've been meaning to say this a few times, but it's everything happened for a reason.
Shout out to Danny, man. That's a testament to him, man. And you know what? You're right, man. I don't want to think about him going out like Mosley, man. I want to think about the Danny Jacobs that went to war with Triple G. I want to remember that guy.
Even Canelo, I was there. I was his sparring partner for the Canelo fight. I felt he did better when I watched it. When I watched it on video, it was like, all right, I kind of understood the score a little more. But I thought he won when I was in the building. Yeah. But he just put up great fights against all-time great fighters.
Yeah.
Now so you can never discredit him.
And now for people that don't know, or people that watch this podcast, I've said a bunch of times, I'm only 20 minutes away from the International Boxing Hall of Fame. Right. I have a big problem, man, and I don't know. I can't say that I know the ins and outs of how people are selected. I know a lot of it has to do with boxing journalists, boxing writers, but there are some people that are not in there that I have a problem with. And Shannon is one of them, man. He really is, man. A two-time heavyweight champion, 37 first-round fucking knockouts. The guy's got 60 wins, man. Explain it to me, man.
So he has the most first-round knockouts ever in history. Yeah. There's no boxer to ever lace up a pair of gloves that has more knockouts in the first round than my uncle, Shannon Briggs.
I got to get up to the Hall of Fame on Hall of Fame weekend and get some petitions going around. We got to
let
get
me
these
know. I'll
guys
come
in
with
there.
you, brother. I'll meet you out there.
I mean, I got two other guys. Paul the Punisher Williams I need to see in there, and I got to see Vernon Forrest in there, man.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know how these guys aren't
legend.
in there. And no disrespect, I got an Arturo Gatti and Mickey Ward poster. Arturo Gatti's in there with a record of 40 wins, 9 losses. The Punisher is 41-2. Vernon Forrest was like 41-2 or 41-3, man.
Right.
Multiple world titles, man. I understand Arturo went in posthumously after he died. Rest in peace. He gave us some great fucking wars, no doubt about it, man. But I don't, to the best of my knowledge, no world titles, man. You know what I mean? You got to get these other guys in there, man.
Another guy that.
What about Zab? Out of curiosity, is Zab in there?
No. Zab got inducted into the New York Hall of Fame.
No, Zab needs to be in that international too.
Yes, he does, and I believe he got in Nevada Hall of Fame. But I don't. Yeah, he got in New York and Nevada. He didn't get
Zab needs to be in the big one too.
Absolutely. And you know who else? Junior Jones. I just was with Junior Jones the other day.
I had Junior on. Yeah, he should be too.
These are all-time greats, and like I said, a lot of the young fighters, they don't know the impact these guys had.
Yeah.
So we got to get these out. I'm with you. You ready to petition? I'm with you, bro.
I'm going to be up there Hall of Fame weekend, man. I always apply for the Hall of Fame weekend usually works. The festivities kick off Friday night. They always have a card at the Turning Stone Casino. Saturday they do their banquet. Sunday they do their induction speeches. Everybody goes home. I usually go Friday night to the fights because I do this podcast. I get the media credentials. I'm sitting ringside. I try to go hobnob and get pictures. Manny's going in this year. Got to get a picture with Manny somewhere in there, man. And you're walking around the arena, man. Legends all over the fucking place, man. Right. You know what I mean? It's a great night, man. It's a great atmosphere. Great atmosphere, man. Yeah, I mean, last time I was there, man, Fondora's there, Shushu's in the crowd, you know what I mean? And then all the greats, man. Ricky Hatton, Marco Antonio Barrera, you know.
Oh, man, it's
awesome, a legendary night. It's a legendary night, man. Flavor Flav.
Flavor Flav. Now, we got to get these guys in there, man. Certain guys that deserve see, people got to understand how brutal of a sport boxing is, bro. Even like I said, currently my record is 3-0, undefeated, but I don't have the amount of fights and I didn't achieve the things that a lot of these guys achieved as professionals. As the amateurs, I did my thing. I had my amateur record was 73-6 in my book. I'm a 4-time national champion, 1-time world champion, won a lot of local tournaments. I did that in the amateurs, but I could tell you for somebody who didn't make it all the way to the top as of yet of the boxing game, it's a brutal sport, bro. It's a brutal sport. Yeah. So we need to give these guys their flowers before they pass away. Because a lot of guys too, they make it off the strength that they passed away. Right. Some guys make it because they passed away and they don't have better.
Right, but we want to see these guys alive and being able to enjoy getting the flowers, enjoy it, savor it,
For sure. It's a brutal sport, bro.
I mean, Zab is what, a 6-7-time world champion himself.
Yeah, he was the last undisputed champion until Crawford won.
Yeah,
so
let's also not forget too, man, that he was one of the guys, man, who really the first half of the fight really pushed fucking Floyd. I had him winning the first half of the fight.
Absolutely, and they didn't count the knockdown.
They didn't count the knockdown.
Floyd Glove touched the mat. Yeah.
Yep.
And but no disrespect to Floyd, because that's my guy too.
Legend.
Like I said, I learned a lot from him. But Zab is my big brother. You know.
Yeah.
So he had a great career, hell of a career.
And now, what about guys right now? You know, obviously Shu and Richardson, are from your neck of the woods. But who are some guys doing it right now, man? That when they're on TV, man, or when they're doing their thing, man, Flat's tuning in, man. I mean, who are some guys you enjoy watching right now that are doing it?
I'm gonna give you my top 5 current fighters right now. One, Benavidez is number 1.
Yep.
Number 1, creme de la creme in my book. Gervonta Davis, I love Gervonta Davis. That's another guy I had the privilege of training with when I was part of Floyd Mayweather's camp. So he was the king of the doghouse. Yeah. For people who don't know what the doghouse is, y'all could Google, put it in YouTube. That's when it used to be like a dog fight at the Mayweather gym. They cut the bell off, fight to the death.
Yeah.
Gervonta Tank Davis was the king of that. Nobody could beat him in that. They had the thing with him and Devin Haney, but that was like before he was actually all the way locked in with the money team or with Mayweather promotion. But when I tell you, I watched Tank stop middleweights, light heavyweights. I'm talking about knock them out. I seen him knock big dudes out.
Yeah.
Tank is a beast. So that's my number 2. I gotta put Crawford in there for sure.
Yeah.
Crawford, beast, a beast. Usyk, I put him as 4, and for 5, I like the Inoue.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like that kid too. Funny thing about him, I have a brother, my actual real brother. He lives in Japan, so he used to tell me about Inoue before everybody else knew who he was.
Yeah. He was
So
tapped in. He was tapped in early.
he was
Yeah.
tapped in early
Yeah.
because he
Yeah.
lives. He's a dancer, a legendary hip hop dancer. So
Oh,
he
okay.
moved out there because they value that culture out there in Japan. So he used to tell me about this guy, and I didn't know who he was talking about. Once I seen it in a way, I said, "Whoa, this guy's different."
Yeah. And now you
So
brought up a couple. You got to brought up a couple guys in that top 5 though, man. That that have some shit going on right now. That's a current hot topic in boxing that I want to pick your brain on. First of all, where did you stand on the Tank Lamont Roach fight? Who'd you see winning?
So I was thoroughly surprised at the way Lamont Roach finished for himself. He put on a great performance. I also credit that the result of that fight to Tank not being his normal self, because I think let me take that back. I credit it to them knowing each other so well, because I see that Tank had a certain respect for him that he normally doesn't have
You
for
could
other
tell.
fighters.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it kind of he didn't have that killer instinct that he normally has. I feel like they've been around each other, been in the ring so many times from the amateurs to now, that he probably felt like, I know I'm not gonna knock this guy out. Because he knows how to take my. It's like when you spar with somebody so much, it's like they kind of get your number a little bit. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
They know how to deal with you. So I think that was the reason that fight didn't turn out the way everybody thought it would. I thought Tank would have knocked him out. My money was on Tank knocking him out, but it turned out the way it did. I think in a rematch that I think Tank might stop him. I think Tank might stop him in a rematch.
And now, where did you stand on the big controversial round 9 taking of the knee?
Oh yeah, shout out to my guy Steve Willis. He was the referee. He ref one of my fights before, so I got love for him. But it was a bad call. It was a bad call. That should have been a knockdown.
Yeah.
But the fact that they didn't do it, you can't cry. Some people wanted to keep it going, crying about the spilled milk, but it's like it once it happened, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like you can't keep it going. Like, we move on to the next thing now. It was a bad call. If I was fighting somebody and they took a knee and it didn't count, I would be upset.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
think with Tank not knocking him out, it's almost like it felt like a Tank loss. I think people were registering it like a loss because they're just so used to seeing him dropping dudes.
Absolutely. And that goes back to what I said. Tank, I feel like Tank knew that this was gonna be a difficult fight.
Yeah.
So I think when they fight again in a rematch, I think Tank could do much better. That's what I think.
And now another guy that you brought up in your top 5, and I want to know where you rate his chances, because you do know him and you've been in the ring with Canelo. If the Crawford-Canelo thing happens, and I know I've seen pictures, Crawford's walking around up in the 180s now. He looks swole. He looks good. But getting in the ring and performing with that weight's a different story, man. Where do you rate his chances if that fight actually pops off?
Crawford is an all-time great. If which is a tall order, if he was to beat Canelo, in my opinion, he would become a Mount Rushmore fighter.
Without a doubt.
He's the Mount Rushmore, because moving up 2, really 3 weight classes, because he moved up to 54 and he didn't really look like himself all the way, but to go up another 2 weight classes above I believe he's a natural 147 right now.
Yeah.
But to go 3 weight classes above 147 to 168, and to be an all-time great fighter like Canelo, and to win another undisputed, because Canelo's definitely gonna win against Skull. He's gonna get that IBF back. He's gonna be the undisputed again, and they'll be fighting for the undisputed. But for him to win a 3rd undisputed world championship in 3 weight classes and a weight class like that, but he'll become a Mount Rushmore. But I believe, as much as I love Terrence Crawford, I love Canelo too. And I gotta be honest, it's a tall order, bro. It's a tall order. I think they make weight classes for a reason.
Yeah, yeah,
so,
yeah.
So when you mix a guy that's as great as Canelo, mix that with the weight advantage that he has, I just don't see how Crawford. I would love to see if Crawford could do that, but I don't think he could beat Canelo at that weight.
Yeah, yeah. And most of the time when I've posed that question to guys on here, the general consensus is that they will say that if there's a fighter out there that could pull it off, Bud's a special kind of fighter.
Absolutely.
That could. He's one of the guys out there right now that could pull it off if anybody could. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
He's one of those dudes.
He's
man.
the one. He's the one.
Yeah.
I don't see nobody else that can move from 147. Like I said, even though he fought at 154, he's a 147, bro.
Yeah.
To move from that to 168 and fight a great fighter,
yeah.
To even think of him winning shows you how great he is. But I don't see it happening.
Because me and my son, man, because he used to co-host this with me, man. When we tuned into him and Errol, man, I mean, I was not only shocked about the outcome, I was shocked how really. And shout out to Errol, I love him, man. How easy he made it look. He really made it look easy. I mean, he fought the whole fight. Southpaw was dropping Errol. I mean, crazy.
I was there. I was actually there in person at the fight, and I got to tell you, I've never seen. I don't think in history that there's been a top fighter like Errol Spence who got dominated like that.
Yeah.
I don't think you look at all the fights where it was 2 great fighters, because you can't take nothing away from Errol. He's still a great fighter.
Yeah.
But when you take like the Leonard Hagler, the Hagler Hearns, the Leonard Hearns, you mix Duran against all of those guys. You mix those guys up because the fight was of that magnitude.
Oh yeah.
But when you mix all those guys up, none of those fights was dominant like how Crawford dominated Spence. None of them.
Yeah. And let's also point out the fact, I don't want to gloss over that, man, that fucking Terrence decided to fight the whole fight southpaw, not his natural stance, just to prove, man, hey, I'm that dude. You know what I mean? Like,
and he did a great job. Great job.
Yeah. Now, another thing I want to ask you, man, because you've been in there with so many guys that fight different styles, man, I get very pissed off, man. I feel like when I watched Floyd's career, it wasn't until the end of his career when I really appreciated what he did. I was kind of one of those ones that sucked into the whole, like, Floyd don't, I'm talking about the Money Mayweather, not the pretty boy when he was knocking people out, man. The Money Mayweather, I felt like, I wasn't appreciating what he did. Now, when I watch the Richard Hitchens and the Shakur Stevensons, man, I realize, man, hit and not get hit. But I hate when I see these guys get dumped on, man. This is not fan friendly. This is not shit I want to watch. This is, these are the guys that when they retire are going to be broadcasters. They're going to have their faculties about them. They're not in there taking unnecessary punishment, man. Where do you stand on that, man? Try to help people appreciate what these guys do.
So to sum it up in a nutshell, right? Like I said, I have limited amount of professional fights, but just in sparring alone,
you've seen it all.
Punishment, bro. You take punishment in sparring alone. Never mind the actual fight, because a lot of times the sparring leading up to the fight is harder than the actual fight. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
Until you get to a certain level when you fight in the elite of the elite, the sparring is harder to fight because look. You sparring with pretty elite fighters, and you sparring back to back, 2-3 guys a day, back to back. You splitting rounds. You might do 4 with one guy, 4 with another guy, 4 with the last guy, and you taking punishment. No matter how good you are, you're gonna get hit. No matter how good you are. Sweet Pea Whitaker, rest in peace. Floyd Mayweather. We could sit here and name all the great defensive fighters. They've all been hit before.
Yep.
So there's no denying that. Now, for the guys that's able to get to that high level and take the less punishment, you got to respect them because, like you said, this is an unforgiving sport, bro. A lot of times you see these older fighters, they can't talk. They can't barely walk. They can't function normally. I don't want to name any names, but I'll be around a lot of the older fighters, and it's sad. You know what I mean? So once I got older, because once you young, you want to see the wars, you want to see the guys take the punishment. You're not thinking much of it. But as you get older, it's like you said, you start to appreciate that more.
Right.
Because it's an unforgiving sport. And then once you retire and you run out of money, you spend your money, because a lot of us fighters, and it's sad to say, we not as savvy when it comes to saving money and investing. So I've been a victim of this. We get used and we get our money taken away different ways. So we don't have nothing to fall back on. We took the punches to the head. We punch drunk. We stutter. Our speech isn't. We got speech impediments now.
Yep.
And we really don't have no second life after boxing. So
right.
You gotta appreciate these guys like the Richardson Hitches, who I always told since he was younger, he reminds me of Money Mayweather, not Pretty Boy Floyd.
Yeah.
He reminds me of Money Mayweather because his style is such a safe but such a beautiful style.
Yeah.
Shakur Stevenson, even Devin Haney, even though he took shots with the Ryan Garcia fight, but still these guys understand you gotta protect yourself. You gotta take as less punishment as possible. And I gotta say, I grew to love Floyd Mayweather, being around him and seeing how he uses his faculties and learning from him. I learned to respect the fact that he wasn't a guy to take too much punishment. Right.
And also a savvy businessman too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
He's kind of like the blueprint for saying, hey, look, man, like you can be successful in the ring and make it work outside the ring, man.
Yes, because like I said, brother, a lot of fighters, once we get out the game, we have no second life after boxing.
Right.
So imagine giving your all to a sport. By the time you get out the sport, you can't even talk. You've been concussed so many times, you can't even express yourself properly. How you think the outside corporate world is gonna look at you?
Right.
They're gonna tell you anything to get you to invest your money. Like I said, I made a living off of being a sparring partner. I've been able to pay my bills and take care of my family just off of sparring.
Yeah.
So I've been taken advantage of in ways financially, where it's like if I knew better, it wouldn't have happened. But I've learned from it. But that's just a lot of these guys are not fortunate like me to have been around a Shannon Briggs, a Zab Judah, a Floyd Mayweather, even a Jake Paul. A lot of these guys not fortunate to be around those guys and learn. So once they get out the game, bro, they get used for their money. Right. And then they don't have the sense to even know because they've been hit so much, bro.
Yeah. And that segues, and I'm glad you dropped that last name because it is such a polarizing topic, man. A lot of the OGs, man, are protective of the sport, man. They don't care for those events. But then there are people that say they bring eyes to the sport. Where do you stand on the Jake Paul events?
Well, I have a good friend who's one of his trainers, Jay Leon Love, and for the people who don't know, I was Jake Paul's sparring partner for the Mike Tyson fight.
Okay.
Yeah. So I want to clear that rumor up. It wasn't a fake fight. A lot of people say like it was like Mike threw the fight. No, Mike age caught up to him, but a lot of it also was what Jake did during training. He put in the work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, just like I'm sure Mike put in the work, but Mike is much older. Jake Paul, he's a hard worker. That's what made me respect him. Because I don't just respect guys as fighters. I respect guys as men, but I don't respect them as fighters until they show me that they're worthy of that respect.
And so you can look at him now. He's living like a fighter. He's training like a fighter. Has he earned that to you? Do you look at him and say, "There's a boxer"?
Absolutely, bro. Yeah. And that's because he had the good enough sense to know I have to surround. I didn't come up in the amateur system how most of these fighters did. Right. So I'm playing catch up. So
on the job training. Yeah,
exactly. I have to surround myself, and this is what he does a great job at. He surrounds himself with the right guys that's able to push him forward to get to the next level that other fighters that will be at his level at that time wouldn't have been able to get to. So right. he has the greatest trainers. He has the greatest people in his corner, the greatest sparring partners, and he takes care of everybody that surrounded him. I have to say, I've been to a million training camps. He took care of me the best financially. So that just little things like that just shows you how serious he takes the sport, because he's not trying to cut corners. He's going to invest in his career to make himself get the best out of it. You know? So that's why there's no secret to why he's where he's at either.
And I think it's a little bit sour grapes, because you do get a lot of guys grinding in the sport for years and years and years. And then here comes Jake into the sport. And within a couple of years, he's having these huge paydays, putting on these huge events. So you can probably see why guys that have been grinding for a minute, man, are a little bitter.
Yeah, I'm one of them. I was never bitter, though. I was raised to be a supporter and not a hater. I was raised to be that way. So I never hated.
Right. Don't hate. Congratulate.
Congratulate, bro. Listen, if you got something I don't got, I'm gonna try to join you.
Yeah.
Know what I'm saying? You know, they say if you can't beat them, join them. That's not a bad thing, bro. I'm gonna try to find my way to fit in to that situation, or at least get in a position where I could watch and learn and pick up the good habits that you have, because there's never, and I say this all the time, there's no secret to success, bro. The signs is written on the wall. Everybody that's been successful, whether it's boxing, whether it's anything, all you got to do is watch their habits, bro. Watch their habits. Watch how they invest in themselves. Watch the things they do, the people they surround themselves with. And it's all written right there, bro. That's why they are where they are.
Yeah. Iron sharpens iron, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, I want to ask you, because you're a New York guy, man. You know, this big event that we're going to see down in Times Square, May 2nd, man. You know, I've heard rumors that it's first come, first serve. You know, they're going to slap a ring in the middle of Times Square. Could this potentially be what, you know, when people are leaving, they're charged up after watching a fight? Could this be a security nightmare? Or will this go off smoothly?
Well, it's New York City. I think when it comes to these type of events, like even like when the ball drop on New Year's, you know, New York City always takes the proper precautions to make sure that it's safe as possible. So I don't think that it'll be anything unsafe. I think it's something that we've never seen as far as boxing goes, but something that as a city we've seen many times. It'll be a bunch of people there. You know, it's always a bunch of people there. It'll be a bunch of police officers, which is great. They'll keep things the way it's supposed to be, and I'll definitely be there because I got to see this.
It's your city,
It's my city. I got to see this. You know, so I think it's gonna be an exciting night of fights. But I think that the city gonna make sure that it's handled the way it's supposed to be handled.
And now, because I tap into a lot of boxing news, man, another polarizing topic, and people are protective of the sport. You know, do you like what Turki Al-Sheikh in Saudi Arabia is doing for boxing? Obviously, now Turkey is partnered up with Dana White. They're talking about cutting back some weight classes, cutting back the amount of belts, putting a certain pay scale in for fighters, all this stuff to kind of shake up the sport. I do like the part about the best fighting the best and trying to give us nice stacked cards or whatever, man. But there are a certain demographic of people out there that are, you know, that are happy with what they're doing. But then there's people that are a little bit protective of the sport, saying, you know, do we really want them honing in and taking? It feels like they're taking over. You know what I mean? Like, where do you stand on what they're doing for the sport?
I mean, I'm a guy. I'm a solution type of guy. I'm not a guy that dwells on problems. Like, a lot of people want to dwell on, oh, well, they're coming into the sport, they're taking over. They're not really guys that was born and bred into the sport as far as the promoting side. And but at the end of the day, if they bringing solutions to the sport as far as the money, because that's what it all comes down to. You know, just like anybody else that has a job, nobody wants to work for free. You know, and boxing, in my opinion, is one of the most dangerous jobs in the world. We take punishment every day. Like I said, from sparring to, bro, we get the hell, bro. Some of us get the hell beat out of us. Me, I'm good defensively, so I don't take as much punishment as other guys. That's why I'm able to elaborate the way I do. But a lot of fighters, bro, I'm talking about, I'm in my 30s, bro. A lot of fighters in their 20s can't talk the way I talk because they're taking so much punishment. So I don't knock what Turkey doing and with Dana White coming into the game, because they're gonna get a lot of fighters paid. And I believe in getting paid for the punishment. Now I'm saying now as far as you really gotta blame the other sanctioning bodies and stuff for not being able to work together, because had they done what they had to do and not been selfish in their ways, we wouldn't need guys like the Turkey to come save boxing as
Right.
far as getting guys paid and making the
Good
biggest
point.
fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, this should have
Yeah.
been being done.
Yeah.
The best always supposed to fight the best. Once you get to a certain level, once you get to that level, man, and you fight for world titles and you fight for all that money, bro, you're supposed to fight the best. That's just how it's supposed to go.
Right.
It's sad that it takes somebody else to come from a whole nother country, a whole nother place, to come over here and put the money up for the best to fight the best.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't knock the Turkey and Dana White and all of them. I don't knock them.
And sometimes shaking something up is not a bad thing.
At all, not at all.
You know, it's really not. And you know, I think people are always a little resistant to change too. You know,
Right.
I mean,
Right.
they are. You know, I mean, like nobody wants the apple cart upset, and you know, I mean, we've had it a certain way for a long time, and they're talking about getting rid of a lot of like the subdivisions. You know, what I mean, like you're either at 147 or you're at 160. You know, what I mean, like they seem like they want to get rid of like the junior or you know the junior middleweight and all those kind of little in between weights.
The thing with that, I don't necessarily think that that's a good thing.
I don't like it either. Yeah,
I don't like that.
I mean, what if you what if you happen to do your best fighting at 154? Exactly. What are you supposed to do? You know?
Exactly. So now you're forced to move up to 160 or move down to 147.
Right.
I don't agree with that. I hope that's not something that they really do. But that's how it was back in the days, though. You know, back in the days, if people do their research, there was only one belt, right? Wasn't all these sanctioning bodies, WBC, IBF, WBO, WBA. There was one belt. Yeah. And the person who had that belt was the champion. Wasn't no Ring Magazine champion, wasn't none of that. There was just the lineal champ, which is considered the Ring Magazine now, but there was one champion, bro, and it was only those weight classes, one middleweight, light heavyweight. I believe light heavyweight came later on, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. But I know it was middleweight, it was welterweight, it was lightweight. You know what I'm saying? Like
cut and dry.
It wasn't those subdivisions. So that's how it was back in the days. But now I think it's different now, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like it's different now. I believe the weight classes made such an impact in boxing that I think it'd take away if they was to try to take those subdivisions away. You know what I'm saying?
Now, tell me a good story, man, like about like a time, man, when you were called into a training camp, man. Obviously the Benavidez story was, an incredible one, man. But, who were some people that have given you the call to come spar, man, where it really just blew your mind?
So let me just drop a couple of the top names.
Okay.
That I've sparred with. We got Caleb Plant, who when I sparred Caleb Plant, right? He was so good because I'm a defensive fighter. He's a defensive fighter.
Yep.
But I've never seen a guy who's able to be so slick defensively like I am. It's some other guys that I could say is equally defensively great. But Caleb Plant, he's like one of the best defensive fighters. He just lacks the power, so I kind of knew what it was going to be when he fought Canelo and Benavidez. But that's one. Of course, Benavidez. Of course, I gotta say my bro Danny Jacobs. Because at that time when I was sparring with him, he was just different, bro.
Yeah,
he was different, bro. I gotta say, who else? Let me give a young guy some credit, like Edgar Berlanga.
Oh yeah.
Edgar Berlanga, I gotta give him his props. The funny thing about him, he grew up in the same, from Brooklyn.
Yep.
We in the same circles and we in the same gyms. He's a kid. He's the same age as my little brother, who I said used to spar with Shushu, and my little brother used to spar with Edgar, Shushu, all of those guys. And he actually fought my little brother in the championship for the Junior Olympics. Edgar. So I'm gonna tell you a funny thing about him. He fought my little brother. His trainer name was Benny. His trainer, that's still my guy, Benny. They pulled the trick on us. And I didn't even realize it till later on because me and Edgar old trainer Benny, his son is a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
So he called me recently, like a few months ago, and he told me, he was like, yo, you remember when Edgar fought your brother in the Junior Olympics and we pulled that trick on you? And I'm like, what trick? And I remember what they did was they said he wasn't gonna come in. He went out of town.
Yeah.
So we came in thinking we was just gonna get a bye.
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't gonna be there.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden when we get there, he shows up. So it's like we wasn't prepared.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We wasn't prepared to fight Edgar that day.
Yeah.
I feel like at that time my brother still won, but it was a close fight. But they gave it to Edgar. But the thing about that, like the next year or 2 years later, Edgar grew so fast, bro, because they was fighting at 120 pounds. They was little guys.
Right.
Fighting at like 120 pounds, 118 pounds, something like that. The next year or two, Edgar shot up to my size.
Yeah.
So now me and Edgar start sparring. You know, so I gotta say, I gotta give him his credit because he gets a lot of hate. I guess because he's brash and braggadocious.
Yeah,
he gets a lot of hate. Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
So he gets a lot of hate. But I gotta say, I watched him from day one, from when he was a baby. I watched him put in the work.
But I mean, what's a fighter without a little brashness and a little confidence, though? It's part of the game. You know, it's part of the game.
You gotta believe in yourself to make it anywhere in this sport.
Yeah.
Some guys go overboard with it, but I look at the work that guys put in. I give him his credit for the work that he put in. He deserves his accolades that he's getting now. Another guy, that I think that's 4 fighters. Let me name one more. I said Caleb Plant, I said Benavidez, I said Edgar, I said Danny Jacobs, and I don't want to say Canelo because when I got in there with Canelo, he wasn't in fighting shape. You know, so it's a difference. It's a difference with a guy that's in fighting shape and when he's just in the gym training.
Right, and I'm glad you said that because I recently had Paul Spadafora on, and people made a big deal about when he put some work on Floyd. But even he said, I was 10 days out from a fight. Floyd didn't have a fight coming up. You know what I mean? So even he said, don't make a big deal about it. Yeah, the fight never happened. He always wanted him at 135 or 140 or whatever. It never came to fruition. But he said, I hate when people ask me about it.
Right. So people got to understand, boxing is it's like your conditioning is very important, bro.
Right.
So if you come in, like I'm a guy, I was known for this. I'll come in off the couch. I'll come into the gym off the couch and spar with the best fighters in the world.
Yeah.
And because of my skill set and my calmness and my defensive abilities, I'll be able to hold my own, but I wouldn't be able to do my absolute best.
Right.
So I know the difference from when a guy's in shape and when a guy's in there just, you know, he's able to do the bare minimum, but he's able to do his thing. You know? So
I almost feel like I owe you some royalties for saying off the couch twice in there since my podcast is called Off the Couch Boxing, man. I feel like I got to have a check in the mail to you or something like that, man.
That's a great name, by the way. Off the Couch.
You know what I got it from, man? You know what I mean? I credit my son with that, man, because when you watch the movie The Fighter, where Mark Wahlberg played Mickey Ward, he's got a fight in there early on in the movie, man, like where a guy pulls out because of an injury, and his brother Dickie and his mother in the movie say they got a replacement, man. But this guy just got off the couch, and then he's in the ring, and he says, "Look at the guy was swollen, jacked," and he said, "If that guy just got off the couch, I got to get a new fucking couch." You know what I mean? Because there's no way that guy just got off the couch, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Some people is physically like my little brother. He's physically gifted in a way that he could look like he's in shape without bein in shape.
Right.
Me, I never had that gift, bro.
Yeah.
I was, and that it's funny because some of my fights, I look back to the amateurs. When I was in the amateurs, I travel all over the country. I've been all over the world. A lot of times it was guys that I know I was way better than, but because of my physique, I wasn't jacked, I wasn't ripped up or cut
Right.
up. I was more of a I was athletic, but my build just wasn't that. You know, so guys will look at me and they'll give a better effort.
Right.
Just because of my
they'll be like that. They'll be like that. Dude's got a little bit of a dad bod.
Exactly. So it'll make these guys feel like mentally like they could beat me, but I'll end up beating them. Of course.
But look at a guy like Tyson Fury though. He's always got the spare tire.
Perfect example.
You know.
Perfect example. And he's not the only one. It's a few. Look at George Foreman when he came back.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So when it's guys like that, when you have that look, you don't have the natural physique of a fighter.
Right.
People would give a better effort because they'll think you're out of shape. Well, really, you're not out of shape. You just don't have that physique. Right. You know, so I understand that. I remember that's a great move. I want to ask you this, right? What's your top 3 boxing movies? All right, I'm glad you asked that, and I've posed that question to other guests on here, man. And because it did help spawn the name of this podcast, but not just because of that, I will put the fighter there because I've met Mickey up at the Hall of Fame. He's one of those guys that will walk the grounds. It's very interactive, like when you go there for Hall of Fame weekend. Guys are walking around, chilling, signing, taking pictures, man. You know, broing up with the fans and everything, man. And Mickey's one of those very gracious guys. Loves to talk about the Gaddy fights. And he's not the biggest star. I mean, Mark Wahlberg plays him in the movie. And the guy's got 12 losses. I mean, how many guys get a movie made about him that end their career at 37-12? You know what I mean? True. It's crazy. He had a great career as far as action fights. He has some of the greatest action fights. Him and Emmanuel Augustus. Yeah. Classic. Yeah. Classic. Yeah. Also, he had a fight, and this is why I'm gonna help you get Zab on. Oh, yeah, please. You gotta hear the story. Did you hear the story about when Zab fought Mickey Ward? I haven't heard the story. I do know they fought. Yeah, I do know they fought. So real quick, right? So this is Zab's story. So Mickey Ward was known for the vicious body shot. The left hook to the liver. Yeah. Left hook to the liver. Yeah. So he caught Zab with the left hook to the liver. Zab was outboxing him and stuff like that. Zab would tell you a lot of guys told Zab don't take that fight because of the level of experience that Mickey Ward had. And Zab was up and coming at that time. Yeah. And Zab, long story short, Zab said he caught him with the left hook to the liver. And Zab went to his corner and he told his father, who's my trainer, Yoel Judah. We call him Abba. He told his father, cut my gloves off. I'm done. He didn't want to go back out. Yeah. His father slapped him. Pow. Slapped him, said, yo, wake up, man. Get back in the fight. Yeah. You got to win this. And he went out there. He said for the next round, all he did was he ran around. He ran around the ring because... But for people that don't know, man, you can attest to it, man. That liver shot's no fucking joke. Brother. You know, baby, because you still got it all up here, but your body's fucking saying, I want to quit. Brother, one of those left hook, I tell people this all the time, man. People that never box, they don't understand it. I'll take a punch to the face from a heavyweight any day before I take a clean liver shot, bro. Yeah. Any day, because I could shake off a punch to the head a little better. You know, it'll hurt. You know, I got a great chin, but a punch to the head, I could kind of shake it off. Maybe even take a knee, get my whereabouts back, and be able. But a shot to the liver shuts your body down. Yeah, it stops your legs from working. Yep. For people who never took a shot to the liver, it stops your legs from working. Number one. Yeah. Your arms drop. You know what I'm saying? Like everything shuts down, bro. It's like an off button. Yep. Yeah. You know, so that shot to the liver Mickey Ward had, man, devastating. So shout out to Mickey Ward. And that's a great movie too. Yeah. And so to get back to it, man, I know it's cliche to say, man, but for what it did to boxing, you got to put Rocky in there. Absolutely. You got to. I don't know if you put them all in there, man, but the original, man, come on, man, you got to. Yeah. You know what I mean? 1976 Rocky and the fight with him losing, you know? So the thing about Rocky is, like you said, the impact. I believe no movie has ever had a greater impact on boxing. Yeah. Than Rocky and boxers, because every time, bro, anytime I have anything coming up, this from back in the days, right? A fight coming up, sparring coming up, anything coming up where I feel I have to really bring myself up to a certain level, I'm putting that Rocky on. And you know which one I'm gonna put on? I'm gonna put on the one when he fought Ivan Drago.
Four. Yeah.
That's my favorite, bro. That training scene.
Yeah.
When
yeah.
Bro, Rocky didn't even train in the gym. He trained in the cabin.
He was doing it old school. And I think they were trying to show that dichotomy. Like Drago's got all the top tech, all the high tech shit, man. Rocky's out with a log on his back.
Absolutely.
You know? Running through the snow.
It makes plus you got to remember a little intricate detail. Drago was taking some
Yeah.
He's taking some steroids, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's getting shot up.
Yeah.
Rocky was like, yo, straight raw with it.
Yeah.
Running through the snow, log on his back, lifting.
Yeah.
He didn't even lift weights. He lifted his trainer and his wife sitting on a chariot or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Lift them up for exercise, bro.
And then I'd probably have to say the last one, man, the Jake LaMotta story. I mean, Raging Bull's a great one, man.
That's my favorite.
I mean, Raging Bull, man. I mean, Robert De Niro, man, with the prosthetic nose. He turned into Jake LaMotta, man.
Absolutely.
Turned into him.
Absolutely. That's my favorite. I probably watched that over 100 times.
And I mean, Jake LaMotta was a fucking tough bastard, dude. One of the toughest, man. I mean, him and Sugar Ray. Everybody was so terrified of him. The only two they could fight was each other. They fought six times. You know, everybody avoided the two of them, man. They only had each other to fight.
Absolutely. And he'll say, I never went down, Ray.
Yeah.
I never went down, Ray.
Yeah.
He was the definite, and you know the crazy thing about him. He remembered every punch he remembered all his fights intricately.
Yeah.
All the punches that was
a guy took that much punishment. A guy took that much punishment, and he was still up at the Hall of Fame right up till his dying days in the 90s.
Amazing.
Yeah. Well into his 90s, man. And I mean, come on, shout out another New Yorker, man.
Oh, absolutely.
Another New Yorker, man.
The Bronx, the Raging Bull from the Bronx. I just love the way that they said he knew how to. He could explain his fights in detail.
Yeah.
To me, that's amazing. At that age and after all those wars he's been through.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, when you watch the movie, man, you see a little bit of the, he was a little possessive of the wife. He had his issues. Yeah. He certainly had his problems.
But Rexx, let me tell you, that's when you training. Well, he was a little excessive, but I gotta tell you, man, when you training for a fight, you get grumpy, man. You can't eat. You can't eat the foods that you want to eat.
Can't fuck nothing, man.
You can't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be abstinent. You gotta get up in the morning. You gotta.
There you go. Yeah. So I'm not so sure if guys adhere to that now, but the old school guys were about abstaining from the sex and everything, man. You know.
Yeah, I mean that's very important to this day. I tell.
Yeah. I mean, even in the Rocky movie, man. Like even in the Rocky movie, fucking Mickey was telling Rocky, man, women weaken legs. You know.
Yeah, they do.
Good advice,
That's true, man.
Good advice. I mean, and so I want to ask you, man, specifically, and I know you've had a lot of OGs and a lot of guys, man, who've probably, you've been under their wing and learned a lot from it. But I correlate you the most specifically with Shannon and with Zab, regardless of your relationship with Danny and all those other guys. I respect you got close relationships with all them. But I've seen you, man, making moves on YouTube and stuff, specifically with those two guys. So I kind of want to pick your brain on those two, man, and what you've learned specifically from those two. Now, one video that sticks out that I love about Zab, and this is what makes me proud to be a New Yorker, man, is and I just sent it to my son the other day. When he took the stage, man, and went all fucking OG on Bernard and Oscar, man, at that Danny Garcia fight. Yeah. I love the fact that he was like, nah, I ain't shaking your hand, man. Y'all kept me down there, man. I can't celebrate, man. I have my people show out in my own city, man. You know what I mean? Like, I love the man that he took them to task about that, man. So I respect the shit out of that.
Yeah, so Zab talk about that a lot. The backstory to that was, that was when he's fighting Danny Garcia. I think that was that might have been the first fight at the Barclays Center.
Yeah.
Something like that. So they put him in a base, they put him downstairs at the Barclays Center, and they wouldn't let him come out for hours. So he wasn't able to eat. They basically mistreated him. Yeah. He wasn't able to come out, he wasn't able to eat, he wasn't able to talk to the people, he wasn't able to do nothing. They basically locked him.
His own city.
Exactly, in his own city, they locked him downstairs. And a lot of things with Zab, he'll tell you this. It's attributed to the way he was viewed back in those days because he was the bad boy of boxing, bro.
Right.
He took on the same type of character as Mike Tyson.
Right.
Who was his OG.
Right.
So he took on that Brownsville bad boy attitude. with Briggs was a little more groomed, you know.
Yeah.
Zab had that aura, that bad boy aura. So a lot of people didn't like him.
Yeah.
So a lot of promoters, Zab would tell you they always gave him the shit end of the stick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that was just one of those instances where when he came up, he was on fire. He was hot and
Yeah.
he let it out.
Yeah. Yeah. And Shannon, man, what I respect the most about him, man, is and I've seen him on Joe Rogan. I've really studied what Shannon does, man. I love his trolling game, man. I love that he'll roll into press conferences and fucking just blow up, man. And it really knows how to promote himself with no team behind him. All him just doing that. You know what I mean? Like, I respect the hell out of that, man. Because, you know, me and my son started this podcast, man. We've grinded the subscribers or not. I'm not fighthype.com or any of these other ones, well, you know, that blow up big or whatever, man. Yeah, you know what I mean? But I just love the fact that, you know, Shannon will come in, whip off his shirt and throw it at fucking Vladimir Klitschko. You know what I mean? And what? I'm here. You know what I mean? I could come into other dudes' countries, going to David Hayes' country. You know what I mean? Like, I love that shit, man.
You gotta respect that, man. It's like, yo, if you don't let me in the door, I'm kicking the door down.
Right.
You know? And that's the beautiful thing about boxing. Boxing is not always, I mean, it's a classy sport because we are professionals.
Right.
That's the main word that's in the, when you say professional boxing, it's boxers, but once you put that word professional in there, we professionals.
Right.
But also, it's a gladiator sport, bro.
Yeah.
You gotta expect violence. You gotta expect some ignorance to a certain point. You gotta expect me to come crash your press conference, crash your training, your training place. You know, this been going on since the days of Muhammad Ali.
Yep.
He was famous for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so you gotta expect that. And I feel like Shannon Briggs was the last to really bring that element into where that element of excitement. You never know what's gonna happen when he shows up.
I know.
Because he's not coming there to start a fight, to attack the guy he calling out. No, he just coming there to bring the excitement and call it, I want you.
Yeah.
Kind of like how Clubber Lang was.
Yeah. I mean, going out on the boat, man, chasing Vladimir
Made
down.
That was classic, bro.
Classic. And so I made my point about what I like about them. But going back, man, the wisdom, what you feel like you've learned the most, we'll take Zab first.
Well, with Zab, the main thing, because I've been around these guys from young. These are Zab, my big brother, and Shannon is my uncle. You know, anytime I have a hard time in life, or you know, it's life. We go through things.
Yeah.
I need some advice. I'm able to go to them, and I appreciate and love them for that, because regardless of what they're going through, they're able to mentor me, and help me out when I need them. And that's very important. And I try to do that for the younger guys that you know, that come to me asking for advice. So with Zab, I believe the greatest thing that I've learned from him is you could change your persona, you know, because now if you see Zab now, you will forget how he was back in the day.
Right. Yeah.
Right now he mellowed down, calmed down. He you know, he been through so much as far as the way people viewed him and the way people treated him. He got the shit end of the stick a lot of times because of his persona.
Right.
Now he changed that. He changed that all the way around. He's more soft spoken. He's more understanding now. He's less high tempered. Don't get me wrong. He ain't gonna let nobody just disrespect him.
Right.
You know, but he's changed his persona, and that's what I've learned from him. Is once you mature, you gotta kind of like tone it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Because you might close doors that could be open for you, but guys that think you hot, your temper is so, you know, you so ill-tempered that they can't work with you.
Right.
Because this is all about, and I say this all the time. My journey in boxing, I've been doing this my whole life, bro. I'm able to be where I'm at. I'm able to live the life I live because of the relationships I have.
Right.
Now, I had times where it'll be guys that'll promise me things in the sport of boxing, and they won't be able to deliver it right away. and I could jump out the window and curse them out and go on social media and say, fuck this guy. This guy's a bitch. He told me he was going to do that. But I would never do that because I know it's probably not intentional. You know,
Right.
sometimes you got to be patient because most of the time when those situations happen and I sit back and I'll be patient, those guys get back in contact with me and they deliver on the end of the bargain.
Yeah. Yeah.
So having a temper, I say all that to say, having a temper and being jumping off the bridge early, that's never good. And that's
Yeah.
one of the things that I learned from Zab. Calm down, stay patient. You know, if you remember the melee with him and Floyd when his dad punched Roger Mayweather in the face.
Oh, got crazy in the ring. Got crazy.
Got
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Huge melee. Zab would tell you that he learned from that because if you watch that, you see that Floyd stood in the back. He didn't even get involved in the chaos.
Right.
He stood in the back.
Yeah.
Zab was in the middle of the chaos throwing punches.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he'll tell you that's one of the things that helped Floyd. Floyd was always thought before he did things.
Right. You
So
calculated.
that's the main thing I learned from Zab is to think before I react.
Yeah. And now what about the cannon?
The cannon, man. The main thing I learned from the cannon, and he'll tell you this, man. He's a hustler, bro. He's a hustler.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he know how to make it happen. His main thing that he says, yo, I had a good boxing career, but I was a great hustler. I was a great talker. You know, I was able to put myself in certain positions with the little bit that I had because he'll tell you he could have been way better. Yo, you got to get him on, Rexx, because I want him to tell you this. He was trained early in his career by Teddy Atlas.
Teddy, yep. Yeah.
So in his words, Teddy Atlas kind of took away from him because Teddy Atlas wouldn't let him fight the way he could fight. Teddy Atlas, you know, he comes from that custom model program.
Right. Reined him in too much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the thing with the custom model program, which is no knock, but they have a certain style of fighting. The cannon to tell you his style didn't necessarily fit into that. He was more of a boxer.
Yeah.
He was more of a stylistic fighter.
Right.
Because a lot of people don't know this. They used to call him Ali. They used to call him Ali back in the day.
Oh yeah, I Lennox Lewis has gone on record a bunch of times as saying, man, that's the best fighter he ever fought.
Yes, and if you, I know because I've been in the ring with the cannon. I've sparred him. He still got the power and stuff,
right.
But his stylistically, he's a hell of a fighter, bro. He's slick defensively. He's cunning. He's crafty.
Yeah, I think people might not think that because they think about the knockouts, they think about the first round KOs, man. So
exactly.
they instantly equate him with a power puncher,
exactly,
knockout artist.
But more than that, he's a boxer. He's a slick boxer.
Yeah,
and like I said, he'll tell you when he was training with Teddy Atlas kind of took that away from him.
Yeah,
you know. But also to my point, he'll tell you he was able to turn his career into what it became because he was a thinker. He was a hustler. You know, he was able to promote himself.
Yeah. And he accomplished a lot, man. I mean, you know, he's told the story about having asthma, you know what I mean? I mean, you know, trying to rise above that, you know what I mean? Being a boxer, man, like, you know, how you made a point before how much stamina is important and your wind and everything. I mean, that's a tough affliction to have and climb through those ropes.
Absolutely, bro. And with that also he'll tell you the story about how he had a point in his life when he was like 400 pounds.
Yep.
And he had to lose the weight. He felt he was gonna die. So he had to start off walking. That's how he came up with the "Let's Go" chant.
Yeah.
He would get up, start walking. He motivated himself. And my point in talking about that is self-promotion. That's what I've learned from.
Yeah, that's big with him. Yeah, that's big with him.
Self-promotion, bro. He turned. Now you hear everybody say "Let's Go" chant.
Yeah.
He created that because he was motivating himself and he learned to use that and take that and use it as a promotion tool to
Yeah.
where it became one of the biggest sayings ever.
Now, why do you think, man? Why do you think, though, man? Because in the last couple of years, man, and I do believe Shannon, like when he says, man, guys want to avoid him, man. You're in the inner circle with him, man. We didn't see the Rampage fight happen. We didn't see a lot of fights happen. Even as he got older, everyone was writing him off. You know what I mean? Oh, you're old. You're this. You're that. But yet, still, nobody would sign to fight the guy, though, man. I mean, what do you attribute that to, man? Like, is there truth to that? That people are just they know how dangerous he is?
I mean, yeah. Well. You gotta say, the self-promotion thing is a double-edged sword, right? Because for one,
I lost your audio.
Oh, you can hear
There
me?
you go. There you go.
All right, my fault. I had my finger on the speaker.
Yeah, there you go.
So I was saying the self-promotion thing is a double-edged sword.
Right.
The reason being, one, it promotes you, it lets the people see what you're doing. Then it's bad because it promotes you and lets the people see what you're doing. So now once they know you in shape like that and they know how serious you taking the sport, they're gonna second guess fighting you, bro.
Yeah.
So that was the thing with the Cannon. People saw how good a shape he was in, how much he was training hard, how motivated he was. And I think a lot of those guys was like, nah, I don't want those problems.
Yeah. And who can blame him, man? Who the hell wants one of those fucking bricks thrown at him, man? Holy shit, man.
I could tell you, bro. I've been hit by him, man. It's like getting hit by a train.
I could imagine, man. Oh,
the power is the last thing to go.
Yeah. And now you've downplayed your career, man, and made yourself in this interview, man, to kind of be like a professional spar. You've said how few fights you've had, man, but you got to have shit on the horizon, though, man, right? You're going to have more professional fights, correct?
Absolutely. I had something set up recently, but because of the business of boxing,
yeah,
a lot of people don't understand certain key points of boxing. They think it's just get in the ring and fight.
Right.
It's a lot more to it outside of that. So one of the fights I had, a few of the fights I had set up recently didn't go through because of the business side. But I'm on it, bro. I'm on it. I'm training hard every day. Training with my trainer Yoel Judah, my team. We in Brooklyn at Gym X Boxing. Also, anytime one of the greats call me and tell me they need that sparring,
yeah,
I'm pulling up.
Yeah.
So I definitely got things on horizon. At the least, my last resort, I'll go to bare knuckle, bro.
Yeah.
I'll go to the bare knuckle league, bro, because I just was talking to Jamel Herring, who is a world champion. You familiar with him?
Absolutely. I've actually reached out to him, man. See, I'm getting the sense in this new era with Facebook, man, a lot of people aren't getting the notifications like they used to. I used to get prompt answers. I don't know what's going on with Facebook, man. But yeah, I've seen Jamel on there. Respect the hell. I always say I don't just pick people's names out of a hat to have on here, man. They're on my radar. I know what they do. I respect what they do. I'm not just like any fighter I see out there, man. Hey, come on. You know what I mean? So yeah, he's definitely somebody watched his career a lot.
Right. So he got an offer from the Bare Knuckle League, and I just was talking to him the other day because I talked to the Bare Knuckle League like a few years ago. I never pursued it like that. And then I recently got a message from one of my guys that's involved in that like last week, and he sent me. He told me he could help me get an offer or whatever. So I'm thinking about it, but yeah. Even with that, bro, I'm still active, bro. I'm still training. My main thing is helping the younger guys come up. Guys like Richardson Hitchens and these guys. I train around Richardson Hitchens every day.
Actually, another guy just signed bare knuckle is Kenzie Morrison, Tommy Morrison's son.
Oh, really?
He just put an announcement up a couple weeks ago that he signed in.
Nice.
He's been putting training videos. I mean, he looks just like his father, man. Another guy that was in a Rocky movie.
Spitting Image, exactly.
He just signed on with bare knuckle.
That's awesome, man. Also one of the champions there is Austin Trout.
Yeah.
He was a great
Legend.
fighter. I
Yeah.
trained with him before too.
Yeah.
So yeah, that might be a move for some of the guys that's not necessarily in the boxing game right now. You know, that's maybe a little older, or maybe, you know, they're not chasing world titles or whatever.
Yeah.
Even my man DeMarcus Chop Coley fought in
Love
that.
him.
Coley,
Love him, man. As a
a
matter of
lot of
fact,
fighters.
he was one of my first guests on here, man. And and we had such a good time with him, man, that his son
Yeah.
DeMarquez, who was just a little guy, 10, 11 years old, man. He's
Mm.
like, you know what, man, I want my son to come on and get some podcast experience and come on yours, man. I want
Nice.
that to be the first one he does.
Nice. Yeah, that's a
kid.
great dude too. That's my god.
Yeah, love Chop.
Coley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I love about Chop? He's always on Instagram, man, and he really, really takes care of his pops. He's always putting videos up of taking care of his pops, man. You know, good kid, good son, man. Good son.
Yeah, definitely.
I've always thought that would be a great move for the Cannon too, bare knuckle.
Oh yeah, for sure. He was that actually when I first was getting offers, it was through him because they was giving him offers. So you know, it was trickling down to me because a lot of times people see him and they see me with him. So you know, I get some of the you know, trickle down offers from him.
Yeah.
He just announced that he'll be fighting July 1st, I believe.
I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So
does he have is there now? Do you know? Is there an opponent already picked out, or he's just gonna?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure as of yet. I'm sure I'll know in the near future because I'm sure I'll be training with him.
Because the last time I saw him do an Instagram, man, he was getting called out by that Christopher Lovejoy guy, and I was like, man, that's hilarious, man. I mean, dude, like that guy's just got dudes on there, man. No disrespect because he has climbed like through those ropes or whatever, man. But he's more of like a music mogul type of, you know. I'm not really sure, man. Like what he thinks he's gonna do, man, getting in there with Shannon, man. I mean, I don't know if that's just clout chasing or what that is, man. But that's just crazy. That's crazy.
That guy's a joke, man. I'm saying, like, I used to train. He used to train with us at the Mayweather gym in Vegas.
Yeah.
Like I said, I lived out there 5 years. I trained in Floyd Mayweather camp for 5 years. I was a part of his team. So I seen a lot of guys come and go. Lovejoy is one of the guys. He'll come in there. He wouldn't want to spar with nobody.
Yeah.
You know, you could tell he's just looking for an angle to.
But yet the funny thing was in that video, he said that when he saw Shannon, he called him out to spar, and Shannon said no. And Shannon's like, "You ain't ever heard that come out of my mouth if someone wants to get busy and spar with me, man. I would never say that."
brother, we from Brownsville, we from Brooklyn.
You ain't turning down no. He's not turning down a scrap or whatever. Yeah. And then he went through his phone and pulled up a picture of when he met him at the Mayweather gym, man. And he was talking about how like his first impression was how small Shannon was. Then he pulls up the picture. Shannon is not only looks huge next to him in the picture, but they're both holding up their fist, and Shannon's fist looks as big as the guy's fucking head.
Yeah, I say it all the time. Shannon got a fist growing out of his fist.
Yeah, that's a heavy dude. Like that's what I envision a heavyweigh's fist ought to look like right there, man. You know what I mean? Like that's absolutely incredible, man. I couldn't imagine being hit by that. It's got to be like
champ. You don't want to get hit by that, man. Sometimes I'll be sleeping. I just have nightmares and wake up.
I think the only thing I think the only thing other than Lovejoy called him out, man, was your buddy CY talking about he was going to line up the Cannon, man, and fucking throw shots at him, man. I'm like, I don't know, man. That guy looked a little too little to me.
CY about 150 pounds, man. Stop it. That's
again, you go back to the weight divisions for a reason, right there, man. You don't just start firing off on the Cannon, man.
Right. So at that time we started our company, the CCB, Celebrity Championship Boxing.
Right.
We had 3 shows. Shout out to Zab, shout out to Didi, the Judah twins. And I'm saying we that's another thing we did with the all call outs mandatory. We found guys to fight on our league, Celebrity Championship Boxing.
Yeah.
And we had great shows. We got another one coming up this year. So we gonna let the people know about that. But that's another thing, man. We was around the pandemic, bro, we was breaking grounds, bro.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, you had to, man. You had to think outside the box. You didn't know what the future held. You know what I mean? You had to start.
Bro, that was a scary time.
Yeah, very scary. Yeah. And so, like, when you say, for people that don't know, when you say Celebrity Championship Boxing, are you talking about, like, you know, actual people that might have been in, like, TV shows or movies or stuff like that? Or are you talking about, like, you know, ex-pro fighters? Or a little blend of both?
Yeah, so it's a blend of both. we had the ex-pro fighters, we have the celebrities that been on shows on TV, musicians. We had all of them fight on our show. Also, we had, because one of the new things is street boxing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, if you know about basketball, they had the N1 mixtape.
Right.
It's kind of like that version of boxing. For the street boxers, they came up and we had guys from Philly, we had guys from Ohio, Texas. They came down and they showed out. And some of the street boxers, actually, they were so inspired by the movement, they became great amateurs. We had a guy, CP, my man Charles. He got ranked in the amateurs. He fought in Olympic trials. He went far in the amateurs. All off the street boxing and what we did with the celebrity championship boxing.
Yeah.
So that movement is still going. We just we put anything boxing out there. Guns down, gloves up. We taking guys from the neighborhood that normally they'll go to war and try to shoot each other. No, handle y'all issues in the ring.
Squash it this way.
Squash it this way. Let's get rid of the gun violence, senseless gun violence and all that. Let's handle it in the ring, bro.
And now let me ask you, man, because you're still sparring and you still want to actively compete in the ring, man, if you can envision what your life looks like after boxing, are you one of those guys that when you feel your competing days are over, that you'll break clean? Or do you feel like life after boxing, you'll always keep a foot in it? Like, are you interested in, like, i.e. the promotional stuff or coaching yourself? Where do you envision yourself, like, once you're not physically competing anymore?
Yeah, I always have a foot in boxing, bro.
Yeah.
Whether it's management, behind the scenes, promotion. I really been looking. Well, one of the things I've been doing, especially since that pandemic time, was commentating.
Yeah.
Whether it's I'm just always gonna be involved. Boxing is my life, bro. Without boxing, bro, I'd probably be dead or in jail, bro. Boxing is my life. So I'll always be involved in some type of way. Even with the kids in my community in Brooklyn, getting them involved in the gym and being a part of their lives. It's all through boxing. Boxing saved me. Boxing took me around the world. Boxing paid my bills. Boxing did everything for me, bro. So I'll always be involved in boxing.
And I certainly want to get Shannon on here to put some more shine on this and elaborate, man. But maybe you could touch on it a little bit. I love what I see with him doing with the Brownsville Boxing Academy. Where is the progress with that right now? Is it getting off the ground?
Yeah, we still working on it. We still building it before we open the doors, but it'll be open. Still working on that. That's going to be one of the biggest things to hit Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, come on, man. I mean, he's putting it. I mean, you're putting it right in the spot, man. That even without an academy like that, has churned out. I mean, so many great boxers. You know what I mean? I can't imagine, man, like the people that'll be pulled off the street and into there, man. You know what I mean? Just future generations of world champions.
Bro, it's like you said. Eddie Mustafa Muhammad. These are all Brownsville fighters.
It's a lineage.
Eddie Mustafa Muhammad lineage, right? Shannon Briggs, Riddick Bowe, Zab Judah, Danny Jacobs,
Mike Tyson.
Mike. Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Number one.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson. When we talk, we got Curtis Stevens, we got Shushu. When we talk about Brooklyn now, it even gets broader because now you got Paulie Malignaggi, you got Mark Breland, you got, bro. I could sit here. You got what's my man name? The Mike McCollum.
Body snatcher, yeah.
The body snatcher. You got what's my man that George Foreman knocked out?
Michael Moore.
Michael Moore.
Yeah.
Bro, you got me, my family. It's just Richardson Hitchens, Chris Colbert. I'll be here naming fighters all day. Edgar Berlanga. It's just a huge, it's a huge thing that we carry in Brooklyn. So yeah, boxing is just us. That's our thing, bro.
Yeah.
And these is all, most of the guys I named is all within a maybe 6 block radius.
That's crazy. That is just crazy, man. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, because you can go to huge cities,
Yeah,
you know, and not find that many. And me and my son were talking about this the other day. Not just fighters, man, but guys that reached elite levels, world champions. I mean, almost everybody you named has been in world championship fights and or been world champions. You know what I mean? You're not just talking
absolutely.
about some, you're just talking about some guys who just journeymen or just, kicked around
Right,
the boxing game a little bit. You're talking about guys that did it at the top level.
right. And like I said, all within probably a 6 to 7 block radius within each other. I just think it's like it's a culture with us. One of the things that I try to stress is bringing that back. Bringing that back. Boxing is a sport that it's like it got a certain prestige about it.
Yeah.
Even the basketball players, the rappers, singers, when it's a big boxing fight, everybody's coming
Hip
through.
hop artists, everybody. Yeah.
Everybody's
Everybody
there,
turns up.
bro.
Yeah.
It's the epitome of a extravagant event when
Yeah.
it's a major fight. You
No,
know, so
I'm glad you brought up major fights, man, because I want to ask you now, because you posed the boxing movie question to me. So if you could think of all those Brownsville fighters, those Brooklyn fighters that are, man, for you, man, all the guys, who you can touch in your Brooklyn area there, man, all the guys that you've mentioned that you're associated with, out of all those guys, man, what are the top 3 fights to you that have involved Brooklyn-based guys?
I would have to say, of course, Zab and Floyd.
Got to be in there.
Being 2 guys that I grew up around, being guys that I learned from.
Yeah.
Guys that I have relationships with. That's one.
Mike's got to be in there somewhere. One of his fights got to be in there, right?
Mike is in there.
But which
I would
fight?
have to say, and this is not a popular vote, but I would have to say Mike and Jake Paul because I was a part of that, bro.
Right.
I was a part of that. That's
right.
I was on. Listen, if you go on to Netflix and you watch a special, you'll see me there with Jake training with Jake Paul. That was the most watched fight in boxing history, and I'm proud to say I was a part of that. So I gotta put that up there. Even though Mike is older, but still, as far as I go, I have to put that in there. And another one wasn't nothing like those Bo Holyfield trilogies, bro.
Yeah.
The Bo Holyfield trilogy, bro.
And shit, when we were dropping names, man, I don't think we dropped Riddick yet. Let's not forget about Riddick. Yeah.
Riddick Bowe. So I remember, bro. I remember like it was yesterday, sitting in front of my father ordered, because back then everybody didn't have pay-per-view. Everybody didn't have cable. So I was fortunate enough to have it. My father, he called all his friends over. I had my friends there, family, everybody.
Yep.
And we sat in front of that TV and watched those 3 fights, bro. From the first fight to the 3rd fight, bro. I'm talking about wars, bro.
Yeah.
Holyfield and Riddick Bowe.
Yeah. I remember coughing up the money for them Tyson pay-per-views, man, and then being tight when Tyson ended in like 50 seconds.
Yeah. You couldn't. They used to say, you can't get up and use the bathroom. Use the bathroom before they come out, bro.
It'd be over. I specifically have that memory of obviously the Michael Spinks fight. That was over in like 90 seconds.
Man.
And I think Razor Ruddock lasted a little longer, but not much. Not much.
Yo, let me tell you something about the Michael Spinks fight, right? And shout out to his nephew, Corey Spinks. That's a good friend of mine.
I just met him at the Hall of Fame and got a picture with him last year. Great
dude. Yeah. Great guy. I didn't know how great Michael, because I was born in the 80s, but I never really was privy on Michael Spinks like that. And I consider myself to be a boxing aficionado.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Right. So I'm staying at in Florida at Shannon Briggs' house. He puts on a video, bro. I watch Michael Spinks for the first time, his whole highlight reel. I said, damn, I never knew how great this guy was, bro.
Yeah.
He was great, bro.
Yeah.
I'm talking about at the time when I'm watching it, because of the state of mind I was in, he looked like he was just above and beyond what people think he was.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely what I thought he was. But the fact that Mike knocked him out in the time that he did was amazing, bro.
You can't judge him on that Tyson fight though, because Tyson was just a buzzsaw back then. He was going through everybody though, man.
Can't judge him, bro.
No.
Michael Spinks was a great fighter, bro.
Tyson was doing everybody like that back then, though.
He was different. And a lot of times the question comes up, how much more successful Mike would have been if Custom Model didn't pass away.
I know, because then all the vultures got a hold of him, man. They really did. Yeah, you know what I mean. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I mean, you know, it's like once he got different people handling his career, man, it just wasn't the same, man. You know what I mean? Now the big question, man. We saw them play boxing a little bit out on the street, man. But how does it shake out? And this probably puts you in a tough spot right here, man. A clash we never saw, man. How would it have shaken out with a prime Tyson and a prime Shannon? I put you on the hot seat there, man, because of the both the boys. Seat, man. I can't. I did you dirty there, champ. I'm sorry.
They my OGs, man. I think it would have been a great fight. I think with that, it's about who land first.
Yeah.
Whoever land first. You know what I'm saying?
Because obviously Shannon is like 6'3". He's a big guy with obviously the reach, man. But Tyson to crash right in and get chest to chest with you, man, and start working, man.
Yeah. Height wasn't an issue for Mike. He'll get a shot in, but then you got to think it depends on what version of the cannon we get, because like I said, Teddy Atlas had him fighting a certain way, but the cannon was a boxer. He was a slick boxer.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would have been a great fight, man.
I hate to put you on the hot seat like that. Jeez, man.
Nah, that's a good question. That's a great one.
And so, like, if you had to rank them right now, man, top 3 guys from Brownsville, man, who are they? Gotta say Mike,
Zab, and the cannon.
Yeah, there you go, right there, right?
There you go.
Yeah.
Bo is right there too.
I should have gave you a top 5.
They gave me a top. Come on, bro. Top 3 is crazy, man.
Yeah. Because you got to. Yeah, I mean, Riddick is like he's one of the all-time great heavyweights ever, man. Ever.
Man. A lot of young guys gotta get schooled on this, man. Gotta go back and watch these guys, man.
Yeah. And now you're going to be my facilitator, man, because I got to land these guys, man. So I figure I was tickled pink when I heard back from you. And I said, you know what, man, an interview with Flat could segue me right in, man. Like once his buddies can start seeing him on here, man, you know what I mean? And me giving my flowers, man, on here, man, to the Shannons and the Zabs. Because I'm in awe of those guys. I mean, I really am.
Me too.
Huh?
I said, me too. I'm blessed to be able to have the relationship I have with them, but those are great guys, bro.
I always thought, man, that when Zab was switched on, man, and in shape, man, just like he said at that Danny press conference I liked so much, man. Yeah, I mean, like he said for that fight, man, and I know it didn't go his way, man, but that was one of the top versions. Oh, you know, man, it's like when Zab was right and in shape, dude, one of the best in the world. Southpaw, bro. Nasty, the speed, the defense, the power.
Bro, when I was younger, and I'll be in the gym with him, bro, I watch him destroy. One thing about Zab, bro, he was mean, bro. He was mean.
But you have to have that, though. That's probably you're saying that in a good way, though, right? Good quality.
I mean, it's good. It's brutal. It's good, but it's brutal because you gotta have that. Of course, you gotta have killer instinct in the sport to make it to that level that he made it. But he was brutal, bro. I watched him destroy dudes, bro, in the gym.
And that can work against you, though, too, right? Like, because I've had a couple people make the point on here. One guy that I had on, I can't remember who, like, I saw interviewing somebody last week, and they said, I asked them about the Terrence Crawford Canelo thing, man. And they said, sometimes when Terrence get hit, though, man, he's got that dog, and he's like, all right, man, now we going to fight. But that can work against him in a Canelo fight, though, man, because that might be what a guy like Canelo, who's lived and campaigned at 168 for a while, man, is going to say, a proud Mexican guy, all right, man, if we're going to rumble, man, that might not be the best tactic for Bud. But you do see that dog and that mean streak come out of Bud sometimes, though.
Bud is a mean dude, bro.
Yeah.
That's why I think, as much as I love Bud again, I think that might be his downfall. When he get hit, he wants to get his back. He want to go to war. It's not hard to make Bud go to war.
Right.
So I think that might be his down. His only chance, really, in my book, is to outbox Canelo.
Yeah.
But if he stands there and tries to slug and tries to prove something, it might not end well.
Now let me
And
ask
I
you about
love
20.
Bud.
Now let me ask you about 2025. We're only a couple months into it, man. Are there any fights that you've seen in 2025 or that are coming up on the schedule, man, that you're particularly excited about? Obviously, we just saw David Benavidez do his thing against Morrell, who was highly touted. I don't think Morrell was ready for that fight, though, man. Not enough experience, man. Not enough of just not enough of a resume yet. Just he hadn't built himself up for that fight yet, man.
Right, and even more so than that, I just feel like it's David Benavidez' time right now. I feel like
he's right in the pocket of his prime right now.
Right now, he's right in that pocket, bro. And I think some people think I'm crazy when I say this, but I see him moving up to cruiserweight, then going up to heavyweight.
Oh, easily,
you know?
yeah.
Huge, hot, bro. It's amazing that it's an anomaly within itself that he makes the weights that he makes.
Yeah.
175 and 168.
Yeah.
Because he's huge, bro, for those weight classes.
So is there anything that you're looking forward to? I'm particularly excited. I don't know why. Probably because I remember seeing their fathers fight, but I'm kind of excited about Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn.
I want to see that too.
That's coming up in 2 weeks.
Yeah, they got a great build up behind that.
Yeah, I mean, come on, man. The dude hit him with an egg in the face at the press conference.
Yeah. Yeah, they've been going crazy. I'm also excited about tonight's fight with Stanionis and Boots. Yeah,
I'm going down in a few minutes to break the news to my wife that we're canceling Netflix and I'm going to order DAZN. Yeah, I don't know how I haven't because for a while, man, people were saying boxing on DAZN ain't going to last, but yet every goddamn fight's on DAZN.
Yep, they doing good right now. They holding it down.
Yeah,
I come from the era, and you do too, of the HBO. Showtime.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, one of my biggest thrills, man. I met all these great boxers, man, in Hall of Fame weekend this past year, man. But I got the biggest thrill, Jim Lampley, the voice of HBO boxing.
That's my
man,
guy.
I got to meet and get a picture with him. I was like, you know what, man? All these other guys, man, my night's good. It's complete, man. That's the voice in my head when I think about great calls in boxing.
Oh, it'll never be nothing again like Jim Lampley, Larry Merchant, and George Foreman.
Yeah, George for a while. They had Max. They had Roy on there for a while.
Bro, but those three right there.
Yeah.
Jim Lampley, Larry Merchant, and George Foreman. Bro.
Yeah, and let's also not forget Larry, man. Talking static with Floyd, though. He got crazy that night.
Yeah.
I don't know what he was thinking.
Those three. And what was my man, the unofficial scorer?
Harold Letterman.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Bro. I'm talking about that's my era.
Yeah,
that's my era that I grew up in.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm 52 years old, so I go back even a little bit more. Like when you used to be able to just turn on ABC's Wide World of Sports and just see Sugar Ray Leonard fighting on cable TV, like for free in the middle of the Saturday afternoon. You know what I mean? Like, turn on and see guys like Boom Boom Mancini or Sugar Ray Leonard or Roberto Duran just fighting on a Saturday at 4:00 in the afternoon.
Oh man, guys got to do their research, man. Those was like I said, my pops, my dad would sit me down, have me watching all those guys. The guys I named before was from earlier, but he'll have me watching all those guys. The white Muhammad Kawi. Don't get me started, bro. Aaron Pryor, Roberto Duran. What's my man name? My man that fought Sugar Ray Leonard. The youngest, the Puerto Rican dude, the youngest world champion in history.
Not Camacho, was it?
No, not Camacho. He was slick, man. He fought man. I can't remember his name. And I think he ended up getting paralyzed or something like that.
Is he still alive?
He's still alive. Wilfredo Benitez.
Oh yeah.
Wilfredo Benitez. Those guys.
Yeah.
Man. That 80s era was different, bro.
An awesome era, man. Yeah.
Man, class. Wait, let me ask you this real quick.
Yeah.
What you think was the best 10-year era? We got the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2010s, 2020s.
Well, as I said, being 52, man, I certainly have just fond memories of the 80s just in general. Music, culture, all that
Yeah,
stuff, you know what I mean? But I don't want to sleep on the 90s though, man, because you still had guys doing their thing, man, like Mike and Roy and stuff. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
there's great boxing. There's great boxing in the 90s, man. It's a toss up for me with the 80s and the 90s, man. You know, for
Right, right.
sure. You know what I mean?
Same with me.
I mean,
Same with
Roy
me.
was dominating the 90s, man, and Tarver. And even Mike was still doing his thing. I mean, he lost
Yep,
to Buster in 90 or 91 or whatever, man. But,
yep.
he did his bid and then came back, man, and was still fighting well into the 90s.
So whenever one of the greatest fighters, in my opinion, my pops just sit me down, bro, on the weekends when this guy fought. Invite my friends over, invite his friends over, and we'll watch Julio Cesar Chavez, bro.
Yeah.
Man. Oh man, bro.
I know, man. People make
Great
so much.
fighter.
People make so much about Floyd getting to 50-0, and I totally respect it, man. But at one time, Chavez was 86-0.
86-0 until he lost to Frankie Randall, the
Yeah.
surgeon.
That's
Know what I'm
just
saying?
insane, man. A lot of guys, man, fucking don't even hit 86 fights. I mean, dude, like you could put like 2 or 3 boxers together and they don't get 86 fights.
Bro, 86 fights? Imagine that. 86 fights, bro.
Yeah.
You done been in the ring, and all his fights was wars.
And I mean, I had
Pernell
Greg,
Whitaker.
and last year, and rest in peace, he just passed away like in the last like month or two. I had Greg Haugen on, and you remember he was the guy that said that Julio Cesar Chavez's resume was all Tijuana cab drivers.
Yeah, cab drivers.
He ended up paying for that comment though.
Rest in peace, man. That's another good fighter, Greg Haugen. I
Yeah,
think
but we
he
lost
came
a lot
from,
of good ones, man. We lost a lot of good ones. Yeah, even just in the last month, man. Livingstone, Bramble, of course, George. I mean,
So I got an interesting story about Livingston Bramble. Years ago, he invited me to move out to Vegas where he was gonna train me, and I took a bus. It was crazy, bro. I still got love for him, but I took a bus out there. And then when I got there, he flaked on me. Know what I'm saying?
like,
He flaked on me and made me come all the way back to New York on a Greyhound.
wait a
No,
minute.
I flew out there, and then when I got there, he flaked on me and I had to end up getting my people to send me a ticket on a Greyhound.
Now you got to elaborate, man. Like, what do you mean? You get off the plane, and what does flake mean? Like, he just says, "Never mind, I don't want to do this."
I get off the plane and he hit me with a reverse a reverse Uno card. Know what I'm saying? Out of nowhere, sent me back for no reason. I don't even know why. He just, know what I mean? He just flaked on me and
Well, he
sent
was
me back.
kind of an eccentric, kind of odd guy, though, coming out with the snakes
Very
around his
odd.
neck and stuff. I mean,
brother, very odd, brother.
yeah.
The stuff he did was like, it didn't make sense, because even I spent maybe a day or two around him, and he did a lot of weird, you know what I mean? But it's not a knock against him, because he had a great career as well, being a world champion and stuff. He had some wars in the ring with Boom Boom Mancini and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So respect to him and rest in peace to him. I never had no ill will. And that's another thing about me, bro, that I said. I never burnt a bridge with no relationships.
Yeah,
even when I felt guys did funny things with me, I never talked bad about them, never turned against them. I always kept a mutual respect regardless of what, but he did that, you know what I'm saying? But rest in peace to him, man.
And now, usually I kind of save this question for towards the end, man. So I want to hit you with it, man. And you've already named a lot of guys that have had an impact on your career, or whatever, man. But I'm talking about even outside of Brooklyn, man, worldwide, man. If you had to put together your Mount Rushmore of the all-time greats, your 4, man, who would they be, man? The greatest for you, your 4 goats, man. You're putting them up on the Mount Rushmore.
I gotta say Sugar Ray Robinson.
Yep.
I gotta say Julio Cesar Chavez.
Yep.
I gotta throw.
Now you see why I save it for the end.
I gotta throw my man James Toney in there. That's my number one.
You know what? I'm glad you're showing him love and putting him up on the mountain, dude.
Oh, that's my number one guy of all time.
Yeah.
I listen. I molded my whole style behind James Toney. Everybody knows that. My
Yeah.
whole boxing style.
James Toney is one of those guys, man, that could literally be in a phone booth with you right in front of you, man. I mean, dude, man, fucking, you could be fucking throwing a handful of pebbles at him and not hit him.
Amazing, bro. And then he always was in position to counterpunch. He was just an amazing fighter, and he didn't duck no smoke. He'll fight anybody.
No. As a matter of fact, man, like I said, man, he told me like a great story on the podcast I just did with him, man. Like about like and I just love that, man. That he's really about that energy, man. Like he was on a talk show, man, and he was a middleweight then, 160 at the time. And Chris Eubank and Nigel Benn were actively fighting right now. And when he was over in England, man, he rolled up to their houses. Not to fight. He didn't want to fight outside the ring. He just wanted to feel that energy, man. Hey, you'll come outside and get nose to nose with me. And they wouldn't. Neither one of them would come out, man. I mean, I'm talking about he was up there. You can watch the podcast. I sent it to you, man. I mean, ringing the call, at the gate. Come on out, man. I'm here. I'm in England.
I believe it. Look, I got a crazy story real quick. I'm gonna give you my fourth guy, but let me give you this 30-second story.
Oh, yeah, please.
So I'm living in Vegas, right? This around time I'm training with Mayweather and I get off the couch. I probably wasn't in the gym for probably like 2-3 weeks. I get off the couch. I go to my man Bones Adams' gym. Go in there.
I've had Bones on. Another great guy.
That's my great guy. You know what I'm saying? So I go to his gym. I made my name in there. I made my name all around the Vegas circuit, being a sparring partner and sparring everybody.
Yeah.
But I go to his gym. And James Toney is there. He's training this guy named Ronald Gavril. So James Toney sees my gloves. My gloves, I have gloves, a pair of gloves that say Flat, aka James Toney.
Yeah.
So he sees the gloves. I met James. James Toney already knew who I was. We met, but he never seen me box. So whatever. Long story short, they like, yo, Ronald Gavril needs sparring. So they asked me, well, I spar with. I said, yo, what? You giving me the opportunity to spar in front of my favorite fighter ever?
I know.
Long story short, and shout out to Ronald Gavril. I got love for him. Good dude. He actually he knocked David Benavidez down.
He fought Caleb Plant too.
He fought Benavidez twice.
Yeah.
The first fight was controversial because he knocked Benavidez down.
Yep, I remember.
He might be the only guy I believe that knocked Benavidez down.
Yeah.
But long story short, I let him up. James Toney watched me. He said, yo, after we was done sparring, and James is funny because the average trainer, they not gonna give the opposite fighter that kind of props in front of their fighter.
Right.
And he's not putting his fighter down, but he came to me, he's like, yo, I never seen nobody that fight like me the way you fight like me.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That's high praise.
Right, yeah. That was the ultimate compliment.
That's got to mean the most. Yeah, I mean, I got to pinch myself, man. A guy that's established what he and accomplished what he's done in the ring, and literally, like, I have his personal number in my phone. Like, I can just hit him up, and he's like, anytime you want me to come on. And I got to pinch myself sometimes. Like, when I look back at the list of 200 and some odd episodes, man, I just reached out to Fight Hype because I'm looking at the Fight Hype website, and I'm seeing all these dudes, independent podcasters like myself, we kind of doing what I'm doing. They got no backdrop. They got a chipped wall behind them. They got a broken closet door. And so my son said, you know what, man? Maybe they'd start broadcasting here. So I reached out to them, man. They did ask for a link. I'm still waiting to hear back from them though. But I'm kind of proud of what I've done on my own, even without Fight Hype or whatever, man. Right. I go back and look at the 200 episodes, man. And I got to pinch myself. The people that I've just ran down on my own and gotten to come on here, just hustling. You know what I mean? Just
progress.
Just like legends, man. I mean, not even just James. I mean, Tim Witherspoon, Pinklin Thomas. Some real, Donnie Lalonde who fought Sugar Ray Leonard. I remember him. But the biggest thrill I get is getting these guys that are like 13-0, 14-0, 16-0. These guys, like I've had Shushu on twice. These guys that are who are going to be the next Floyd Mayweather 5 years from now. You know what I mean?
Right.
I get a charge out of having those guys on.
And this is the thing. A lot of these guys that do the podcast thing now, because it became a fad. A lot of guys, they just come up and just say, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah. I always say everybody with a computer and a microphone now is a podcaster.
Bro, it's like, some people don't even have no reason to be doing it.
Right.
See, you know your stuff. You studied the game from way back.
Yeah.
You understand boxing. A lot of guys, they don't even bother. They just wanna get the numbers from just trying to interview certain names and
Right.
But I respect guys that do the grassroots like how you
You have
did.
to. Yeah,
Right.
you kind of have to.
So shout out to you, man. Big up to
Thank
you.
you.
And just
Yeah.
like you said with James, Tony, and whoever, whenever you hit me up, I'm coming through, bro. And I'm definitely gonna help you get Zab and the Cannon up here. I'm gonna help
Zab,
you.
listen, if I could give you 3 requests, man, of people that you could help facilitate, it would definitely be Zab, the Cannon, and David.
I got you, bro. I'm gonna put my work in, bro.
And I'll tell you what, man, and I'll tell you what, you got such a gift for gab and have history with these guys. I use Google Meet, man. You can have up to 50 people in one of these things, all in like little squares. I mean, I would even have you on with me. You know what I mean? Like we could all chop it up in here. We could all chop it up in here.
I would do it, brother. I would do it. I would not, no problem, bro.
I mean, that's why I use Google Meet as opposed to Zoom or Skype, man, because like this program specifically, it was made for like people doing like seminars and shit like that. So you could turn the screen around and you could say, hey, you know what I mean? Like, here's like 10 people on here, man. You know what I mean? Like, if you were doing like a job training or something like that, you know what I mean? So it's useful in that way because you could have like multiple people in here, you know?
Yeah, this is awesome, bro.
And now you still didn't give me the 4th Mount Rushmore, though.
The 4th Mount Rushmore?
Wait a minute. Let's recap, man. So you gave me Sugar Ray Robinson. You gave me Julio Cesar Chavez. You gave me Lights Out.
Lights Out. And I got to say for the 4th, I got to say, give me I'm gonna try to go a little more modern. Give me, I said Floyd already.
No, you gotta have him on
Floyd
there.
Mayweather.
You gotta have
him on there. I'm gonna go modern. Yeah, I'm gonna bring up somebody modern. Throw him in there, Floyd Mayweather.
But I am happy that you said James, man. And yeah, like when he texted me back, like after I sent him the link to share it around, man. I mean, he's just like, yeah, anytime, and and I'm saying what an honor it was, and he's calling me king, and I'm just like, this is surreal to me, you know what I mean? This is a guy that I watched fucking piecing people up my whole life, you know what I mean? Like it's crazy, man. You know what I mean?
Well, one thing people gotta know, because it's a misconception that we get as fighters that like we mean guys and like we assholes and. We do that leading up to a fight because that's what we're supposed to do.
Right.
Bring that kind of mentality into a fight. But for the most part, bro, you got some jerks, just like with anything else. For the most part, the best fighters is always gonna be humble guys, bro.
I look through my cell phone now, man, and so many guys have like trusted me with their personal number to get in contact with them. I look through my contacts now, and it's like, it's like loaded with boxers who just felt comfortable enough to like say like, yeah, you know, I mean, better to reach me on my personal number. Hit me with a text when you want to do it or whatever, and I store the numbers in there. But I will say though, man, speaking to your point about guys and how they act outside the ring, there was a time when I went to the Boxing Hall of Fame and I went to the banquet dinner, and afterwards everybody was pressing in around Mike. He was there, man, right? And he'd gone over to the table. They have a big like banquet table up there, and they're all giving speeches and yada yada yada. And then as soon as it ends, everybody bum rushes that table, man, because everyone wants to get their shit signed. You know what I mean? Yeah. And certain guys stay around longer than others, man. Mike broke out kind of early, man, because he probably knew, man. A lot of people, you start heading to all these guys at the table, and obviously, man, a lot of people head in Mike's direction because of who he is or whatever.
Of course.
So eventually, he gets up, he goes over to the table, he collects his wife, who's sitting over there with Dr. J. That fucking blew my mind, man. and he collects his wife, and he's trying to make his way out of there, and people are pressing in. And I got a couple of nice shots of him. Not one with him, man, but pretty close to him. And people started to press in. And suddenly, man, he was just like, yo, everybody back up. And then he finally was like, I said back the fuck. And people were pressing in. And people get a little crazy, man, and a little too familiar with, and I get it, man. He's trying to protect his wife and stuff.
Absolutely.
You can't be just like, infiltrating people's space, man. Like when a guy's saying, man, give me some space, let me and my lady through, man. I was like, man, it ain't worth getting your jaw broken for a picture with Mike. You know what I mean? Like, fuck that.
Yo,
you know what I mean? Like,
hey, one day, I was at the David Benavidez when he fought the guy from the Ukraine. That was the same night Tank fought Frank Martin. So I'm at the fight, right? Mike Tyson comes in. They draw the crowd around.
Right,
him.
Sure.
He's in a bad mood, bro. He's fucking elbowing guys out his way.
Yeah.
Get out. So Mike is different, bro.
Yeah.
But also I wanted to say, I was going I was gonna say something else.
But Mike's been through it though, man. I mean, I've read Mike's book, man. I mean, fuck, Mike's been through it though, man. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, so you gotta
Mike's had a
expect.
lot of ups and downs.
Yeah, you gotta kind of expect. he's a loose cannon, bro. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? You gotta kind of expect that. But yeah, I love what you're doing, bro. Now I mean, anytime you hit me up to come on, man, I'm here. Like I said, I'm gonna help you get those guys.
I appreciate that, man. Listen, man, if I don't let you out of here, I feel like I could lose the whole fucking night and I'll miss the Boots fight. I could just sit here and chop it up with you all night, man. But I appreciate you being so generous with your time, man. We've been on here chopping it up for a minute. This is longer than most of my episodes go, man. But you lose track of time, man, when you're chopping it up and having a good time, man. You know?
Right. Time is flying. I don't even know.
Yeah,
I don't know what time it is, man.
It's 5:30. We've been doing this almost 2 hours already.
That's crazy. I didn't think it was that long, man.
Yeah. But listen, man, I appreciate you, man. This was really a lot of fun for me, man. And I'll probably have the episode up tomorrow, so I'll send you the link, share it around, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, brother.
I appreciate you, man. This was a lot of fun. Thanks, brother. Stay in touch. We'll do it again, man, for sure, man.
For sure, brother.
All right. Thanks, Flat. Appreciate you,
All
buddy.
right, champ.
All right, later, man. There he goes, folks. Wow, that was one for the books. David Flat, Sparks, man. Brooklyn's own. Fucking the wealth of stories, man. The wealth of knowledge, the wealth of experience, man. We were all over the board with it, man. Just two guys. Again, speaking to my point that I made the other episode, when I started doing this, those are the kind of conversations I was looking at. Not your cookie cutter questions. What was your toughest fight? What do you remember about this? No, I like when it's just free form conversation, man. Chopping it up, all over the board with it, throwing memories back and forth, man. Just you know, a podcaster and a fighter, but at the end of the day, two fans at the end of the day, chopping it up, man. So big ups to David Flat Sparks for coming on here, man. That was a really fun one for me, man. That's one that's for sure gonna fucking stick out for me, man. And I'm gonna hold him to his word because I do need Zab on here. I do need the Cannon. Who shout out to the Cannon, man. We have talked, man. I know it's about nailing down a time. You know, I understand, man. Real life gets in the way, man. I rock the hat through many episodes, man. I'm a fan, man. You know, whether the Cannon comes on or whether the Cannon doesn't come on, and I know I'll get him, man. He's a man of his word and has told me a few different times that he will come on the podcast. I respect the hustle, man. He's a family man. He's a grinder. He's a hustler. He's working on the Bronzeville Boxing Academy. He's here. He's there. People tugging at him for appearances in a million different directions, man. And Zab, you know, I know specifically with Flat and watching what he does on YouTube, man, and the all call-outs are mandatory. You know, I see the kinship that he has with those guys, man. And it just so happens, man, that his inner circle of guys, man, and specifically I'm talking about Zab, and Shannon and David Benavidez just happened to be coincidentally three guys that are very near and dear to my heart, man, as a boxing fan. You know, obviously David, the Mexican Monster, is my number one guy in the sport right now, man. You know, he's a guy that is just must-see TV for me. And I do agree. I mean, I don't know him like Flat does, but I do agree, man, that, you know, when you see him in interviews, man, very gracious, very well-spoken guy, man. But, man, is he really he is the Mexican Monster, man. And guys are avoiding him for good reason. And in my opinion, man, Shannon ought to be in the Hall of Fame. It's criminal. If anybody from the Boxing Hall of Fame is listening, man, we are talking about a guy with 60 wins in the heavyweight division and the all-time king of first-round KOs and the two-time heavyweight champ. How he's not in there, I have no fucking idea. Same with Zab Judah. But I've also been on the soapbox with other guys. Paul the Punisher Williams, Vernon the Viper Forrest, man. I got names, man. Petitions need to go out. As Flat said, I got his support, man. Some of these guys, it's criminal that they are not here in Canastota in the International Boxing Hall of Fame. Being in those individual states, Las Vegas Hall of Fame, New York Hall of Fame, all fine and well and good, man. But the big, you know, the big building, man, well, it's not so big, but, you know, the big honor, the International Boxing Hall of Fame, man, we got to get these guys in there. And as Flat said so eloquently, giving these guys their flowers, man. And while they're here, not posthumous, let's not wait till these guys are dead, man. Zab is a 6 or 7-time world champion, one of the greatest to ever do it, in my opinion, man. Criminally underrated. I mean, I hope people in the boxing world who aren't just casuals that really know the sport don't have him as underrated, undervalued, because they certainly shouldn't, man. You know, because when Zab is switched on, man, I think he's one of the best of all time. The same thing with the Cannon, man. So just a ton of stuff that we went over right there, man. 2 hours went by like that. With that being said, of course, make sure to like and follow Off the Couch Boxing on Facebook. And, of course, make sure to like, subscribe, and smash that notification button. This is, of course, the undisputed, undefeated heavyweight champion of boxing podcast. You know it. I know it. The world is slowly starting to know it. Could be happening a little faster. But the good news is you, too, can be a champion. I'm sitting home watching you, Rexx. How can I be a champion? Well, you're already on the fast track. You're watching Off the Couch Boxing. So continue to stay tapped in and continue to roll with the champs. Peace.